Good evening and welcome inside Regency Furniture Stadium, the Reagan Waldorf, the site for tonight's contest between your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the visiting Lancaster Barnstormers, live from the Bayonet Press Box, broadcasting on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. I'm Andrew Banstra, joined by Austin Rooney for tonight's contest, the second of a three-game set here between your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the Lancaster Barnstormers. Southern Maryland, they've been red hot. These Crabs have won 9 in a row, which is a franchise record. They haven't all come easy. Some have. A couple of blowouts along the ways. But last night was a close one. A 2-1 win by the Blue Crabs. Jared Walker came through clutch in the 7th inning with a double. David Harris scored a run early on an RBI double. It was a good night. It was a great baseball game. Could only hope for the same tonight, assuming the Blue Crabs get a win. We are thrilled to be bringing you tonight's game. Quickly, let's get you the Barnstormers starting lineup. Batting first, Ladarius Clark, the center fielder. Melvin Mercedes, the second baseman, bats second, with Andretti Cordero, the third baseman, batting third. Kelly Dugan, the first baseman, bats fourth, with Mark Zagoonas, the left fielder, batting fifth. Conor Lean, a former Blue Crab, bats sixth, playing right field. Anderson Feliz bats seventh, the designated hitter. Anthony Perrone bats eighth, the catcher, with Jake Hoover, the shortstop, rounding out the lineup, batting ninth. We'll step aside for just a short moment. The national anthem is on its way here at Regency Furniture Stadium. We'll allow you to hear it. We'll zoom in on our national anthem singer for this evening, and you'll hear it as well. The national anthem has come and gone. You know what that means. It is time for Blue Crabs baseball right here on your home for Blue Crabs baseball. The Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network ran through the starting lineup for the visiting Lancaster Barnstormers. Let's give you the starting lineup for your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs here on a beautiful Wednesday night at Regency Furniture Stadium. Leading off, the center fielder, Jack Sundberg, the speedy left-handed hitting outfielder. Batting second, the second baseman, Ruby Silva. Batting third, Jared Walker, 5 home runs in his first 10 games. He plays first base. David Harris bats fourth, a touch over 300 on the batting average. A trio of home runs for the designated hitter. Batting fifth, Alex Crosby, the third baseman. Batting sixth, Zach Collier, the left fielder. Matt Hibbert bats seventh. Hibbert getting the start tonight in right field. Ryan Haug bats eighth, the catcher. And the shortstop, Michael Baca, bats ninth in tonight's contest. Once again, Andrew Banstra here, thrilled to have you along for tonight's matchup between the visiting Lancaster Barnstormers and your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. If there's one storyline coming into the game, you probably already know it. These Crabs are screeching hot. Southern Maryland having won 9 games in a row, breaking a franchise record last night for the most wins consecutively in franchise history. Southern Maryland's record this season, 9-1. They lost their very first game of the year at Lexington and are undefeated ever since. Southern Maryland trying to keep it going. Spoke with Stan Clyburn last night. He said this is the best start he's ever had in terms of a record in his career. That's saying a lot. This is a guy that's been in professional baseball for now over 50 years. Shows you just how special this Southern Maryland Blue Crabs team is here this evening. Give you the pitchers for tonight's game. For the Blue Crabs, it'll be the left-hander Denson Hull, who has been nothing short of tremendous to this point in the season. The numbers for Hull, you couldn't really ask for much better. He's made 2 starts, going 8 1/3 innings. He's allowed 4 hits, struck out 8 batters. He has not allowed a single run. No runs, no earned runs, you name it. He hasn't allowed it. As for the Lancaster Barnstormers, they'll put Augie Silk on the mound. Silk, somebody the Blue Crabs are quite familiar with, having seen a fair amount of times last year, has struggled to start this season in 6 1/3 innings over 2 starts. He's allowed 10 earned runs, 2 homers. Batters are hitting .393 against him. He's 0-2 with a 14.21 ERA. Stepping up to the box is Ladarius Clark, signaling that we're ready to get started here at the Reg in Waldorf. Clark, a 2021 Blue Crab at the end of the season, but spent a vast majority of the year with these same Lancaster Barnstormers. Denson Hull steps onto the rubber, working out of the stretch against Ladarius Clark, the right-handed hitting center fielder for this Barnstormers squad. High leg kick from Hull, and he misses high and away for ball number 1, and we're underway here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Beautiful night for baseball. Andrew Banstra joined by my broadcast partner Austin Rooney here at the Reg in Waldorf. Austin, how are things going for you this evening?
They're going pretty well, all things considered. You know, we've had a few bumps along the road, but I think things are going pretty well tonight. What about you?
Not bad, not bad. Let's talk a little bit about Denson Hull. We went over his numbers just a moment ago. You couldn't ask for much better from the Southpaw to start the season. 2 starts, hasn't gone quite as deep as Stan Clyburn generally has his starters go, but the numbers have been astonishing. No runs allowed for the left-hander. The walk's really the only thing that you can point to as somewhat of an issue, but really a tremendous start to the season for the Southpaw.
Exactly. Well, he's had two appearances, 2 starts this year, and he's gone 4 innings and 4 1/3 on each of those 2 occasions, and he's allowed a total, I should say, of 4 hits. So a really strong start to the season for Hull.
Big swing, big miss from Ladarius Clark, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Denson Hull, the left-hander with one of the best mustaches in all of baseball. No question about that, Austin.
He's got a great one. The handlebars are awesome. You got to love what you see from our guy, Denson Hull here.
The thing about him is it only works for certain people. 2-2 slap back into the protective netting.
I don't think I could grow it well enough to make it work to start with, and then if I were to do so, I don't think it would look good either.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I would agree. I know I couldn't grow it. But even if I could, I would look terrible. Just terrible. Denson Hull, on the other hand, rocking it. Sees a 2-2 count to the leadoff man in tonight's contest, Ladarius Clark. Sun shining over the red roofing of Regency Furniture Stadium, just peeking into the infield grass. The count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Melvin Mercedes, a .227 hitter on the year, awaits on deck. Andretti Cordero in the hole. Ladarius Clark, 2 homers, 6 RBIs on the season. The southpaw Denson Hull awaiting with the glove at the belt. The pitch misses high and outside for ball number 4, and the first Lancaster Barnstormers base runner of this contest is aboard.
Well, let's remember last time out, Hull had a few walks. He walked 3 consecutive batters, or he walked 2 and actually hit 1 in an inning to load the bases. I talked to him after that game, and he told me he just sort of lost his feel. And I think that that's going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for today, because Hull got ahead in that count. He was ahead 1-2, and before it was worked all the way back full, and he ends up walking him. You know, if the batter starts to foul off a few pitches, does he get a little bit frustrated? Does he start to miss his spots?
Melvin Mercedes steps up to the box. The infield for the Blue Crabs was shifting as if maybe Ladarius Clark was going to try to swipe the base. Only has one stolen base on the season.
And he started and then stopped in that last pitch.
You know, the Blue Crabs generally don't steal a ton of bases. This year, you mentioned it last night, they've stolen a lot.
And they've been very successful when they have stolen, Andrew.
Absolutely. I think you mentioned last night I don't think they've been caught stealing all year.
Yeah, they're 23 for 24, so 95.5%.
I think I'll take those odds.
Yeah, I think so too.
As for the Barnstormers, in terms of the individuals in their starting lineup this evening, 3 combined stolen bases on the season. Each of the first 2 batters in the Blue Crabs lineup have more than that by themselves. Ruby Silva with 4, Jack Sundberg with 7 already in the year through 10 games played. Denson Hole on his way home, a pitch out. Good idea there from Ryan Haug, but nothing moving over there at first from Ladarius Clark. Give you the defensive alignment for your Blue Crabs this evening. From left to right in the outfield, it's Zach Collier, Jack Sundberg, and Matt Hibbert. From left to right in the infield, starting at third base, Alex Crosby. At shortstop, Michael Baca. Ruby Silva at second base with Jared Walker at first. Pickoff move to first. Clark went on the pitch. Can we get him in time? Yes, they can. That's one of the harder plays in baseball. Clark already had a fantastic jump. Jared Walker fires a strike to second base, and applying the tag is Michael Baca for a critical out number 1. And if you're Denson Hole, you feel pretty good about your fielders having your back.
You do. I think there are a couple things you got to watch out for there. And it's, first of all, surprising to me that Ladarius Clark went after you have a pickoff move and a pitch out. The Blue Crabs clearly were onto him, yet he didn't stop. You would have thought at least take a couple of pitches off and then reassess maybe the next batter. But he was insistent on going.
Couple of differences in tonight's lineup for the Blue Crabs. Matt Hibbert getting the start in right field in place of Braxton Lee. Michael Baca getting the start at shortstop, where he started the first handful of games this season in place of Jordan Howard. And if you're Stan Clyburn in this Blue Crabs team, Austin, you got to feel pretty good knowing that you feel comfortable giving those guys those off days and having other individuals that can step up in those situations.
Oh, absolutely. This is a team that is extremely deep, 1 through 9 for the Blue Crabs. I mean, and position by position, every single spot they've got someone who is more than capable of taking over.
This one slapped back into the netting, and Denson Hole has now ran each of his first 2 opponents full. Mentioned Hole has not allowed an earned run all season long. He, in fact, Austin, among qualifiers in the Atlantic League, is the only pitcher that still has a perfect ERA. Fastball in there, called strike number 3. Taking a little bit of extra pitches to get him, but 2 up, 2 down for Denson Hole.
Yeah, not the most traditional way either. Allows a walk, gets a pick off, and then a very long and deep count on Melvin Mercedes. He thought he had ball 4, but he gets rung up for strike 3.
That'll bring up the third hitter in the Barnstormers order, Andretti Cordero. Saw Cordero for the Barnstormers as the designated hitter last night. Number 12 finds himself at the hot corner this evening. Denson Hole on his way with the first pitch to Cordero. It's in there for a called strike. Spring is finally here. You hear the birds chirping here in the press box at Regency Furniture Stadium, deciding this is a good spot to be. 0-2 goes the count.
And let's just be clear, that's not a sound effect. Those are actual birds chirping.
It's true. In fact, for a moment, I was trying to figure out what was going on here, just to find out that it is, in fact, those birds chirping above us.
Well, we had a pigeon here a couple years ago, yes?
Ballpark pigeon, Murphy?
Yes, I'm not sure he's still at this ballpark, but we have other birds who have made their entrance.
And they have.
And if we have a consistent bird around, believe me, he'll have a name.
He will. In fact, Murphy had 3 names.
What were his names?
I don't remember, but everybody had a different name for Murphy.
We also had a guinea fowl here, didn't we?
We did. We did.
When was that?
You name it. He's around from time to time. I've heard that it's one of the neighboring houses, supposedly. I don't know much about that, though. High in the sky on the 0-2, fouled over our heads in the Baynet press box. Andretti Cordero continues to work this count against Denson Hull.
I think I chased after that bird last year.
Did you?
I think so.
I think you did, actually. That sounds familiar. Looking back at the game log for Andretti Cordero, he's currently riding a 4-game hit streak. 2 of those have been multi-hit games. He's played in 11 games this season, has Cordero. Swing and a miss. How about it? Denson Hull walks the first batter. A pickoff move finds Ladarius Clark in no man's land, being caught stolen. Melvin Mercedes strikes out looking, and Andretti Cordero goes down swinging. 3 up, 3 down for the left-hander Denson Hull here in the top of the first inning this evening. Send it to the Blue Crabs when we come back on your home for Blue Crabs Baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Southern Maryland sends the top of their order up here in the bottom of the first inning. Game 2 of a 3-game set, Bark in the Park night here at Regency Furniture Stadium. And Austin, I don't know if you saw it, but a dog just got incredibly frightened by Pinch, which, to be fair, is probably a fair reaction from a dog.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I would be very confused. Jack Sundberg up to the dish, finds himself in a 1-1 count.
You've got a dog, right? You've got your outstanding dog, Slugga.
It's true.
And is he here today?
He's not. I meant to. You know what? Yesterday I said I was going to bring him, and I didn't.
Huh.
I don't know what that says about me, but.
You know, I think Bark in the Park is fun for us as people, but I don't know, the dogs, they might get a little bit antsy, you know?
It's tough to say. You might have to ask him about that. As Jack Sundberg fouls one to the right side, the count 2-2.
What's that guy's name, the dog whisperer?
I am not familiar. Are you?
I haven't watched any of his shows, but I've heard about this guy.
Okay.
Maybe our friends in the comments can let us know.
Maybe they can. 2-2 the count. Jack Sundberg up at the dish. A .357 hitter on the season. 7 stolen bases. Watches this one pass as the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. That on-base percentage for Sunburg Austin still sky high, up at .591 for the left-handed hitting center fielder. Augie Silk working out of the windup and misses once more. Ball number 4, and either pitcher in this game started off with a base on balls. See if the Blue Crabs can take advantage of it. If they'll do that right now, it'll come in the form of Ruby Silva, who steps up to the dish.
A big walk for the Blue Crabs as Sundberg is one of the fastest guys in the league. 7 for 7 in stolen bases. I would be totally unsurprised if he tries to go here.
Ruby Silva up to the dish, a .317 hitter on the season. Augie Silk thinking the same thing you are, Austin, picking over to first. Couple of left-handers this evening dueling it out at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Yeah, Silk ran into some trouble last time out. Has an ERA over 14 coming into this one.
Ruby Silva takes a hack of this one. Straightaway liner to left field directly into the glove of the Lancaster left fielder Mark Zagoonas for out number 1.
That's a well-hit ball by Silva. Tries to go the other way on it. And it just so happens that it was right at the left fielder Mark Zagoonas, but otherwise could have easily been extra bases.
That brings up the third hitter in the Blue Crabs lineup this evening, Jared Walker. The first baseman hitting .302 on the season. Had that critical RBI double in the 7th last night that spelled a 9th straight win for this Southern Maryland Blue Crabs team, Austin, a franchise record.
Yeah, and Walker's been hitting well recently. His average up over 300, not even to mention the 5 home runs he's got in the season, which is tied for the Atlantic League lead.
Fouls off the first pitch that he sees, and, you know, basically every time he comes up to the plate, he's having some sort of a productive appearance, if you will. Even the times he's getting out, he's had a fair amount of quality at bats, and even when he's just flying out, they're deep shots to straightaway right field or to that right center alley.
Yeah, there was a ball that was robbed by Demetrius Moorer in this series against the Genomes, where he hit the ball probably 6 feet up that chain link wall on the in right center field. Moore is easily one of the top defenders in the Atlantic League. He's definitely an MLB quality defender.
It's always fun to see people flashing the leather, especially when you don't expect it. Jared Walker takes a pitch high. It's called ball number 1 as the count evens at a ball and a strike. You know, the Blue Crabs have been very patient in their first 3 at-bats, particularly with Jared Walker and Jack Sundberg. Not something we saw as much last night out of this Blue Crabs lineup.
They're a little more aggressive, and they struggled at the plate, to be honest. This is a team that mustered only 5 hits.
And when you're averaging over 10 runs a game on an 8-game win streak, in game number 9, if we would have told you going in, you're only going to score 2 runs and get out-hit, the Lancaster Barnstormers doubled the Blue Crabs hit column, but sometimes you just got to win the ball game, and that's what happened last night for this Blue Crabs squad. Fastball high and tight. Did he go? No, he did not, says our third base umpire. Beautiful night for baseball at the Reg in Waldorf. Regency Furniture Stadium, the site for tonight's contest. Game 2 of a 3-game set. Tomorrow, we will have another game at 11:05 a.m. as Jared Walker rips into one. Back goes Ladarius Clark into center field. Really got a good piece of it, but not too much trouble for the center fielder Clark, recording out number 2.
Again, that ball hits 375 feet probably to straightaway center field, and he hits that ball to right center field. That's probably out of the ballpark, but, you know, depending on where he hits that ball in this field, it's a flyout or, you know, it's a double or a home run, and he smoked that one. Just got a little unlucky.
That brings up David Harris, the cleanup man in the Blue Crabs order, the designated hitter facing the southpaw Augie Silk with 2 away and 1 on. Are you at all surprised to see Jack Sundberg has not attempted to steal second base, and do you think he will now?
I would expect he does steal, but I'm honestly surprised he hasn't gone yet. Obviously, it's more difficult to steal against a left-handed pitcher. especially one who has a good pickoff move, but I'm surprised he hasn't gone.
Fastball catches the zone to even the count at a ball and a strike. Give you the defensive alignment for the Barnstormers from left to right in the outfield. Mark Zagoonas, Ladarius Clark, and Conor Lean. From left to right in the infield, Andretti Cordero, Jake Hoover, Melvin Mercedes, and Kelly Dugan over at first. Behind the dish, Anthony Perrone with Augie Silk still on the mound. 2 balls and a strike goes the count to the .308 hitting David Harris, a trio of home runs on the year to accompany 11 RBIs through the first 10 games of the season. Harris awaiting in his right-handed batter's box, left-on-right matchup. Sundberg with a healthy lead at first as a cutter catches the inside of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes goes the count. David Harris, a former Toronto Blue Jays draft pick, a former Frontier League MVP as well. Fastball high and away, and Sundberg will have no choice but to go on this next pitch. Runner at first, a full count with 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning. A 0-0 score in the early going at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Also Bark in the Park night tonight. We're going to get into that a little bit later in more detail.
Pickoff move to first. Sundberg being kept honest by Kelly Dugan and Augie Silk.
Looking forward to talking about some of our favorite breeds of dogs, types of dogs.
You got all types of stuff coming up.
Oh, we've got all sorts of things in store today.
I'm glad to hear it.
Wild
Sundberg,
dogs, wolves.
Sundberg goes on the pitch. Harris swinging back over our heads here in the Baynet press box. And Austin, it appears as though Kelly Dugan wasn't even holding Jack Sundberg on there. Of course, he knows he's going to go either way, but
yeah,
anything into the gap should score Sundberg at that point.
I think he thinks maybe it's just not even worth trying because he's going to go one way or another, and he doesn't want to be out of position if it's a ground ball toward first base. But, yeah, it's an interesting decision.
Especially with a left-handed pitcher, he could certainly pick over if he needed to. The 3-2 once more, fouled away again, and Jack Sundberg will have to return back to his first base position.
Oh, it's only 2 rows deep. The first baseman, Kelly Dugan, was actually pretty close to making a play on that ball.
Should Harris reach, Alex Crosby awaits on deck. Zach Collier in the hole. The 7-8-9 for the Blue Crabs, Matt Hibbert, Ryan Haug, and Michael Baca. Matt Hibbert and Michael Baca getting starts this evening after not starting last night. Stan Clyburn with a very deep roster, 1 through 27 here at this Blue Crabs team. 3-2 pitch, a called strike. Harris doesn't like the call, but he'll go down looking at strike number 3. Southern Maryland sends 4 batters up to the plate. Can't come up with a run, but leave one stranded. After 1 inning of baseball, we are scoreless here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the other end of this break on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Hibbert, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To the top of the second we go here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Andrew Banstra joined by my friend Austin Rooney here on a Wednesday night, Bark in the Park night here at Regency Furniture Stadium. A scoreless game through one inning as we take you into the top of the second. Denson Hull back out onto the hill for a second inning of work. In the first inning, Hull walked the first batter before picking off Ladarius Clark on a caught-stealing attempt. Melvin Mercedes and Andretti Cordero followed that by both striking out looking. High fly to the left side. This could be trouble. Alex Crosby ranging back and makes a very difficult play look quite easy for out number one.
And a lot of times, those are the defenders you don't even think of as good defenders, the guys who make things look easy that are actually quite difficult plays, and Crosby did that just then.
So Kelly Dugan goes away on one pitch, bringing up Mark Zagoonas. The left fielder wears number 19. He is a multi-year MLB veteran here in his first season with the Barnstormers. Left on right matchup for Denson Hull, who works out of the stretch. First pitch swung on once more, this time a different result. A base hit, the first of this game, and it comes off the bat of Mark Zagoonas.
That ball is well hit right back up the middle. And Sundberg forced to play it on a hop.
That brings up Conor Lean, and if that name sounds familiar, it probably should. He started this season with the Blue Crabs before being traded to this Lancaster Barnstormers team. Now, the numbers for Conor Lean, Austin, off the charts. Really, just the depth in this Blue Crabs outfield seems to be the reason why Stan Clyburn parted with the outfielder. With Southern Maryland, he played 3 games. He went 4 for 11 at the dish with a triple, a home run, and 6 RBIs. Also struck out 6 times. With the Barnstormers, in 3 games, he's 5 for 8. All of his outs recorded, Austin, have been strikeouts, however.
So if he's hit the ball in play, it's going to be a hit.
That's the way that it seems. His BABIP is awfully high. He's 9 for 19 on the season with 9 strikeouts, meaning that only one time this year has he put the ball in play and been recorded as an out. Lean, the right fielder this evening for this Lancaster Barnstormers team. Denson Hull working out of the stretch. Takes a look at the runner at first and delivers a pitch. Skied high, shouldn't be a problem for Ruby Silva, who calls the ball in shallow right field and catches for out number 2.
So not traditional of Lean. He usually gets a hit if he puts it in play. This time just popped it up.
If you're Denson Hull, you'll take it.
Oh, no question about that.
You look back at the first inning for Denson Hull. The southpaw threw an awfully high amount of pitches, but this inning has not been the same. First inning, he threw 18 pitches, has only thrown 4 here in the second. First pitch swinging from Anderson Feliz, and it seems as though after a very patient approach in the first inning from the Barnstormers, they're coming out swinging here in the second inning.
Yeah, first pitch swinging for both Kelly Dugan and Mark Zagoonas. It's only the second pitch on Conor Lean.
Fastball inside, but it misses. Ball number 1 to Anderson Feliz.
Well, the fans are chanting ice cream, and we went over this yesterday. And now on the broadcast, we've been over it a few times. When I was doing the broadcast solo earlier, we talked about it, and I couldn't quite figure it out. But the fans are chanting ice cream because
Runner goes on the pitch. Beautiful throw down from Ryan Hogg just off the mark. Make that Ryan Haug, I beg your pardon. Ball gets into center field, thrown to third, off the mark, but corralled by Alex Crosby. Likely goes down as an E2. If not, the runner stands on third base in the form of Mark Zagoonas, threatening to be the first runner to cross home plate in this contest.
It's a tough E2 because it was actually quite a good throw by Haug, as you mentioned, Andrew. It's a low throw on the first base side of second base as it should be right there Berube Silva, but it's, a tough short hop for him as well. It really wasn't anybody's fault per se, but there's a runner on third base nonetheless.
Strike called. Anderson Felice falls into a 1-2 count. The only runner on stands at third in the form of Mark Zagoonas. 2 away here in this top of the second inning at Regency Furniture Stadium. A scoreless game in Game 2 of a 3-game set. Game 3 will be tomorrow morning in our first of our baseball and education games. 11:05 first pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. Denson Hole picks up his third strikeout through his first 2 innings and strands another runner. We're through 1.5 here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Let's send it to the bottom of the first with Alex Crosby. Make that the bottom of the second with Alex Crosby, Zach Collier, and Matt Hibbert on the docket when we return on your home for Blue Crabs Baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Go outside sometimes. Practice hockey. I like to build Legos at home. Ride my dirt bike.
Hometown isn't just a part of our name, it's who we are. We know Southern Maryland because it's our hometown. We are Hometown Real Estate. We'll see you at the park, the grocery store, or the ball field, and we know why living here is great. Give us a call today at 443-275-9910 or visit us online at wehelpyouhome.com. We are your neighbors. We are Hometown Real Estate. Let us help you home.
This is Austin Rye, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To the bottom of the second we go here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Andrew Banstra joined by Austin Rooney. Here on a beautiful Wednesday night at Regency Furniture Stadium. Alex Crosby starts things off. He'll be followed by Zach Collier and Matt Hibbert. We talk about this Blue Crabs team starting 9-1 this season. The best beginning to a year in franchise history. In addition to that, having won 9 straight games, a franchise record. Austin, how much of that goes into the fact that this is a Blue Crabs team that caught fire at the end of last year, won 10 of their last 15, 7 of their final 8 to get into the playoffs? You look at this lineup, you see a ton of guys returning from last year.
I think the returning factor plays a big role because of how many guys are back from a season ago.
Fastball misses outside to Alex Crosby. The count 2 balls, no strikes.
And then on top of that, I think there's just a lot of skill in this lineup. I think the pitching staff is really, really strong. And the bullpen, more than anything else, is probably the biggest piece in this whole winning streak.
Generally when you look at the construction of a baseball team, obviously you look at how are our position players, how are our starters, and then how is our bullpen. And really, for Southern Maryland, you don't see many holes in any of those categories. 3 balls and a strike, the count now to Alex Crosby.
If I had to rank them, I'd probably say bullpen, the lineup, starters, and the starters have been good.
Fantastic even.
It's just that the other two have been that much even better.
I would concur. And, you raise a really good point. You look through the starting rotation. Darryl Thompson, of course, the ace for this Blue Crabs team.
And then you got Eddie Butler as well, a 3-year or he was in the MLB for 4 years, I believe it was.
Mitch Lampson, the 2019 American Association Pitcher of the Year. Of course, Thompson, the reigning back-to-back Pitcher of the Year in the Atlantic League. You've got Mackenzie Mills, who was fantastic in his one start out so far. And, of course, Denson Hull as well, who has the only perfect ERA remaining among qualifiers in the Atlantic League. Alex Crosby draws the count full from his opponent in Augie Silk. Silk's first inning saw 1 walk but no hits. Just 1 hit so far in this game. Came off the bat of Mark Zagoonas, the left fielder for the Barnstormers. Crosby patiently awaiting the payoff pitch, way off the zone, and it's ball number 4 as the Crabs draw their second straight leadoff walk. That brings up Zach Collier, the left fielder for this Blue Crabs team. Crosby reaching first, has good speed, and a great base runner over there at first is Alex Crosby. So far on the season for the third baseman, 2 stolen bases. Zach Collier, a .286 hitter on the year, hasn't played in too many games as he was on the inactive list with an injury for the first week of the season. So still kind of getting into game shape, Austin.
Exactly right. So Collier just sort of trying to get back into the swing of things here. He actually had a really, really strong second game coming back. He was 2 for 2, scored 4 runs, had a home run in that game. Still hitting pretty well.
Off-speed pitch misses inside, and the count draws even at a ball and a strike.
Well, Andrew, just moments ago on your screen, you might have seen the dog crossing the bridge out there. We're going to get into some canine trivia coming up.
Absolutely. Missing downstairs is Augie Silk.
So here's our first one. Wolves are obviously a type of dog, right?
Absolutely.
So the question is, what is the average sized wolf pack? I'm going to give you a few options here.
Okay.
4, 6, 8, 12.
2-1 pitch, catches the outside corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 4, 6, 8, and 12. I feel like that's not, generally when you get multiple choice, it's like 4, 12, 48, and 100. So it's generally pretty easy, but I don't think you're going in that direction. Let's go with 8. Line drive right up the middle shouldn't be a problem for Ladarius Clark. And before we get back to the Wolves question, Austin, really, for Southern Maryland, a fair amount of solid contact over the course of this series, just right at fielders.
Yeah, we saw Ruby Silva go the other way on a line drive to left field, and it was nicely snagged by Zagoonas. But this has been a few times now when the ball has been hit pretty hard, just right at defenders. Now back to the answer to your question: how many wolves is the how many wolves is the average number of wolves in a wolf pack? 6 is the correct answer. 6
Okay.
wolves. You said 8. Which was a good guess, to be honest.
Yeah, without much reference there.
It was kind of difficult.
It was, but that's all right. That's what trivia's for. Matt Hibbert up to the plate, takes a pitch inside for a called strike number 1. The right fielder for the Blue Crabs this evening comes in hitting .304 on the season, a .484 on base percentage, and that's really his forte. Led the Atlantic League in hit by pitchers last season and drew a ton of walks. Pitch misses downstairs. Anthony Perrone grabs it, fires to first. Crosby back easily.
Interesting decision to throw down to first at all, because Perrone, or Dugan I should say, wasn't actually on the bag. He was not in a very good position to try to tag out Crosby. And Perrone risked the overthrow as well.
Fastball misses way outside, and the count 2-1 from Augie Silk. Mentioned at the top of the broadcast that Augie Silk had found some struggles in his first few starts this season. Came in with an ERA above 14. Has settled down here this evening in the early going, although walked each of the first batters in the first and second innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Matt Hibbert. A home run and 3 RBIs, as well as a trio of stolen bases on the season for Matt Hibbert. Hibbert from the right side, awaiting the southpaw Augie Silk's delivery. A long look over to first in the pitch. 2-2, did he go? No, he did not, says our first base umpire, Bill the Skill Worthington.
Bill the Skill Worthington was at third base yesterday, at first base tonight. Also worked the series against Staten Island.
Behind the dish, Tim Detweiler and Jim Clayton, our third base umpire this evening.
Clayton working back-to-back series for the Blue Crabs.
Chopper up the middle, could be two. Stepping on second is Mercedes, firing to first for out number 2. Call it a 4-3 double play to end the Blue Crabs' second inning of action. We flip it to the top of the third. 8-9-1 due up when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Hibbert, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
2 innings have come and gone here at Regency Furniture Stadium, taking in at the top of the third. 8-9-1 due up for this Lancaster Barnstormers team. Austin, we talked about it earlier, but for the first 8 games of this 9-game win streak for Southern Maryland, they averaged 10 runs per game, scored just 2 in a win last night. On 5 hits, they're hitless through 2 innings this evening. Of course, the bats had to cool down at some point. You feel great with the pitching staff you have, but at the same time, was it inevitable or a concern?
You know, I think that it was going to come a time where they're not going to score 10 runs per game all season long, but the numbers we're seeing in the last 18 innings or so, going all the way back to the Sunday game when the Blue Crabs scored 8 runs in the first 4 innings. After that rain delay, things have really quieted down. Did not score in the last 5 innings on Sunday. Scored 2 runs yesterday and no hits for the first 2 today.
Well struck to the right side. If it's fair, it's extra bases, and it just evades the fair play on the right side of that right field chalk line for a long strike number 1. 1-1 the count.
Denson Hall certainly catches a bit of a break that time.
Hole pitched for Creighton in the Big East before he was drafted in the 28th round in 2019 by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, and Andrew's got an interesting story. He was a starter back at Creighton, did a little bit of starting in Missoula where he played rookie ball, but then he became a reliever almost exclusively, especially in 2021.
Fastball misses upstairs. The count 2 balls and a strike.
And then after that, he was a reliever in A-ball, reliever in high A, reliever in double A, and had some decent numbers at certain stops along the way. And then he comes to the Blue Crabs, and it's an adjustment, going from a reliever back to a starter.
The southpaw comes home with the 2-1 pitch, jams up the right-handed hitting Anthony Perrone, and it looks like he may have caught Ryan Haug on the mask there.
I was never a catcher, but it sounds painful.
It does.
Did you ever catch?
No, left-handed. I tried once. Went out, I bought gear, spent all this money, and came to practice, and the coaches were like, you're literally left-handed. Like, we can't let you catch. And I was like, okay, well, 7 years old, you learn a few things, and you move on. And
so what is the real reason? I watched a couple YouTube videos on this. We'll get back to it.
Fastball, strike number 3 from Denson Hull. Finds his 4th strikeout here in the early going. The biggest reason would be that most batters are right-handed, and a left-handed catcher isn't going to be able to throw down as easily to third base without just hitting that batter. Honestly, in my opinion, the whole catcher thing is less exclusive just in terms of functionality. Middle infielders that are left-handed, that obviously wouldn't work, but the whole catcher thing, it's interesting, but I certainly don't think it would make sense for a lefty to catch.
I don't think it makes sense for a middle infielder. I agree with that, just because of the way you're throwing the ball to first base away from your body. I don't think I understand the catcher thing, though, because I think at this point, the number of lefties basically matches the number of righties.
Denson Hull back out onto the mound. Starts out with a 2-0 count to Jake Hoover, the shortstop for this contest. Hull has allowed 1 base runner in each of his first 2 innings, walked the leadoff man in Ladarius Clark, who awaits on deck. And then the second batter in the second inning, Mark Zagoonas singled. Austin, that's the only base hit of this entire contest. Chopped right over our heads here in the Bayonet press box. Strike number 1.
Yeah, it was just a first pitch line drive from Zagoonas. Shot it right back up the middle. Not too much to the base hit. And there have been some hard hit balls throughout this game, but both pitchers deserve their fair share of praise. Between Silk and Hull, neither one has allowed much at all offensively.
The 2-1 pitch, dribbled foul to the left side. Now, Jake Hoover was originally drafted in the 28th round in 2019. Both he and Hull were drafted in 2019 and no longer find themselves in the affiliated systems despite having tremendous talent from both individuals. Another one of those perplexing situations. The 2-2 upstairs, 3 balls and 2 strikes. As for Jake Hoover, he played in college at Hillsdale before being drafted by the Texas Rangers. He made it all the way up to AAA in 2021 before joining the Barnstormers late in the season. Played 29 games for the Barnstormers, batting .241, a 107 hitter through his first 7 games here this season.
In Hillsdale, a Division II school, and you'll see that from time to time.
High in the sky on the payoff pitch to the right side, Ruby Silva all over it. Ranges to his left and catches for out number 2.
Obviously, the majority of guys who are drafted out of college are D1 guys, but every once in a while you'll see a few D3 guys and a few D2 guys. Usually not in the first few rounds, but after you get past that point, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, you'll start to see some of those guys. And the draft used to be 40 rounds, now 20 rounds. It's part of the minor league realignment. Andrew, what do you think about trading draft picks?
I think it makes sense in certain situations.
Because right now you can't trade picks. You can trade different, like, Rule 4 draft picks, but not regular draft picks. And I always thought that's a little perplexing. Why not?
It is weird. I think that I would guess some of it comes from the MLB still having so many more rounds, but it's a really good point that you bring up.
And if a guy isn't worth that much, maybe you want to give up a 10th round pick. But still, the idea you can't trade anybody, I just found a little weird. The MLB draft is very different than all the other drafts, though.
Fastball high and tight to Ladarius Clark. It sure is. It's very different. It's almost weird how different it is. Can you tell me who was the first overall pick in that 2019 draft? Give you a hint. Orioles.
Rutschman?
Adley Rutschman.
All right.
You got it. Rutschman probably will make his MLB debut this year, as will the second overall.
Wait, don't tell me this one here.
Top prospect in all of baseball.
Out of high school or out of college?
Right now.
But was he out of high school or out of college?
He got drafted out of Colleyville Heritage High School in Texas.
Okay, I'm probably not going to get him then. Who is it?
Bobby Witt.
Oh, junior. Yes, of course.
You got it. The names fall off a little bit after that, but an interesting note, we talked about Jake Hoover and Denson Hull. They were both drafted in the 28th round of the 2019 MLB draft.
How about that?
Ladarius Clark awaiting the 3-1 from Hull. Sky high, straightaway center. Jack Sundberg ranges in, and he puts it in the back of his glove for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning from the southpaw Denson Hull sets down the Barnstormers in order. When we come back, it'll be Augie Silk back on the mound for the Barnstormers. 8-9-1 due up for the Blue Crabs. Ryan Haug, Michael Baca, and Jack Sundberg when we return on your home for Blue Crabs baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. To the bottom of the third we go here at Regency Furniture Stadium. A quiet game offensively to this point. Just one hit through the first 2.5 innings. See if that changes here on the bottom of the third. If it does, it'll start with Ryan Haug. Haug, the catcher for this Southern Maryland Blue Crabs team. A first-year Blue Crab has made a real impact in his first 10 games of the season. Coming into the season, Austin Rye and Ryan Haug, the two catchers on the roster, most of the starts have gone to Ryan Haug to this point. The bat has been on fire. First pitch of the third inning for Augie Silk, just a touch high. Last night, Haug went 0 for 3. A .333 hitter on the year is Ryan Haug. A .455 on base percentage. Ball number 2.
He's got a great eye, and he resembles Jack Sundberg in his ability to get on base.
You know, you always see out of catchers, generally they have a better understanding of the zone. Talked with Mike Falsetti, a 2019 Blue Crabs catcher, about that exact thing. His batting average was in the 200s, low 200s, but his on-base percentage in the mid-300s. Another one of those guys you wonder if he could have, made an MLB roster one day. 2-1. Misses upstairs. 3-1 goes the count. We had a reporter, Gabe Locks from USA Today, say that exact thing after speaking with the catcher. A lot of catching success in Southern Maryland. Charlie Valerio, now the catcher for the Dominican Republic Olympic team, got a bronze medal in 2021. Ball lands right on top of our heads. There it comes. Right back over. Austin, did you think you were going to catch that for a second?
I didn't know. I didn't find it particularly likely because this ledge right overhead almost gives no room for it to bounce directly down. So it was maybe 3 to 5 feet in front of this deck right here.
Ryan Haug awaiting the payoff pitch, 3-2 the count. Pitch misses downstairs, and another walk for Augie Silk. Austin, he's pitched 3 innings. He's allowed a total of 3 base runners to this point in the game. All of them have come from leadoff walks.
I don't think Haug is the most likely guy to steal, but I think at some point the Blue Crabs really try to have to put some of these guys in motion because they're not getting all that many guys on base via hits. So if you need to, steal a base, get yourself in a scoring position, and see what can happen. He's 2 for 2 on the year in stolen bases, so not completely out of the question for Haug to steal.
This ball gets past the catcher, Anthony Perrone. Haug does get to second, and a runner in scoring position for Southern Maryland for the first time in this contest. Michael Baca, the man at the plate, getting the start at shortstop this evening. A 136 batting average through the first 10 games of the season.
He's had his ups and downs, and he's someone who's a contact hitter. He's not going to hit all that many home runs, but definitely can get a base hit here and there. And Baca been struggling more recently, but he was up over 200 very recently.
And Baca, a guy that showed all throughout last year that he could be an everyday shortstop. The glove is always there, and that's what he said to me in a post-game interview once. He said, the way baseball works, the bat's just not always going to be there, but he knows that his glove will be every night. 1-1 the count. Runner at second in the pitch. Slap to the right side. Likely foul, and it is. A ball and 2 strikes the count to Michael Baca.
And Baca takes his time here. In off days, you'll see him here hitting the ball off the tee in the batting cages for hours at a time. I'll sometimes come by the ballpark on off days here, and you'll see him over there hitting. So, he puts in the time, he puts in the work, and eventually that's going to pay off.
The Blue Crabs holding a .284 team batting average this season. Michael Baca hits one straightaway center. Ladarius Clark had it played perfectly, catching for out number 1.
He was playing way in. If he was playing back at his normal depth, it would have been a much more difficult play. But he was there immediately.
Southern Maryland hitting .284 as a team this year. That's third best in the Atlantic League. The Barnstormers near the bottom of the pack with a .254 team batting average.
Well, Andrew, before yesterday's game, during what was an 8-game win streak at the time, the Blue Crabs had been hitting .301 in the prior 8 games.
The Gastonia Honey Hunters, Austin, are 10-1 this season. The Blue Crabs find themselves at 9-1, the best 2 records in the Atlantic League. No coincidence that those are the only 2 teams that have top 3 team ERAs and batting averages on the season.
Right, if you're winning that many games, you're going to have high batting averages, you're going to have good ERAs. Those things are just going to go hand in hand.
A ball and no strikes the count to Jack Sundberg. Ball number 2 crosses. And just like that, Sundberg in a hitter's count. Walked his first time up. Couple of dogs in the ballpark this evening here at Bark in the Park night.
And we're going to get back to that trivia. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten about it.
I was worried.
You were? Okay. Well, we're getting to it.
Pickoff move to second. Gets over the glove of Jake Hoover and now past Ladarius Clark. Ryan Haug had initially thought about going back to second. He'll be sent home. The throw from Ladarius Clark, not in time. And a very unconventional first run of this contest comes around to score in the form of Ryan Haug. And Austin, we know in the game of baseball, if you allow free passes, it's going to come back to bite you. Augie Silk walked the leadoff man in the first and second innings, but now, finally, the first run comes around to score despite the Blue Crabs not having a hit yet in this game.
Right, so the ball goes into center field, and Haug originally held up after he took a few steps toward third as Ladarius Clark got to the ball quickly, but then he overran it, and Haug had an opportunity to go all the way home.
2-0 in there for a strike. 2-1 goes the count. And, you know, Stan Clyburn was saying last night, we're playing fantastic baseball, but sometimes on these big winning streaks, you need the ball to bounce your way. And he was saying it has been bouncing our way. That right there is a great example of that. And if you're a Blue Crabs fan, you'll take that. 2 balls and a strike the count. A 1-0 Blue Crabs lead as Southern Maryland looks to make it 10 straight wins, already riding a franchise record 9-game win streak. The 2-1 offering misses upstairs, and now another hitter's count. 3 balls and a strike to Sundberg. You wonder how long Augie Silk will stay in this game, not because of how he's been doing. It's really going to be because of the pitch count. He hasn't allowed a hit to this point in the game, Austin, but at the same time, the pitch count is going to get running up if you continue to walk batters to this point in the game. Silk has already thrown 53 pitches.
And he's walked 4 guys, hasn't allowed a hit yet, and the Blue Crabs have capitalized as well.
Trip to the mound from the Lancaster pitching coach will give us a moment for another dog trivia, Austin. How do you feel about that?
Are you sending it my way?
I don't have one.
Oh, you don't have one?
I don't have any dog trivia prepared.
Okay, well, I'm going to offer you a few different breeds of dogs here.
Okay.
One of these breeds of dogs is going to be one of the top 5 strongest dog breeds out there. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here are your options. A black Labrador.
Okay.
A pit bull.
Okay.
A golden retriever.
Okay.
Or a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Well, something tells me that it's going to be the 4th one. Let me sit on that for a second. As Ruby Silva lines one to center field, it's caught by Ladarius Clark on the first pitch for out number 1. Beg your pardon, out number 2 of the inning. I feel like this is most likely a trick question with the last dog that you named. Can you say that one more time?
Yes. It's the Rhodesian Ridgeback. Rhodesian Ridgeback.
One of 2 things is happening here. It's either that or you threw that in to throw me for a loop.
So you're telling me you haven't heard of this dog breed before?
You know, I have actually once.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have.
Was it because of me or someone else?
No. I ran into one at the dog park.
Oh, really?
I did. I couldn't tell you what it looks like, which doesn't really help me much in this trivia question as Jared Walker comes up to the plate. Walker, a true power hitter, lined out his last time up to straightaway center field and sees a 1-0 count. Let's go with the Ridgeback.
You're right. It's the Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Okay.
Here's what it looks like. I'm not sure if we can get this to our fans.
That's a great-looking dog. We will certainly try to get it onto the screen. My first instinct wanted to say pit bull. That's what I have at home. 2 balls, no strikes the count. What we would ask is that everybody tuning in on our Facebook feed respond with a comment of their dogs. And in the 5th inning, we will give them a shout-out. We'd love to see everybody's pooches here on Bark in the Park night. Three balls, no strikes the count. Jared Walker sees the first strike cross the plate. Mentioned the extreme power for Jared Walker. 5 home runs through the first 10 games of this season. The 3-1, well struck to the right side, but it should hang in the air just a little too long. almost to the warning track, but Conor Lean gloves it for out number 3. The Blue Crabs through 3 innings still hitless, but they are on top of the Lancaster Barnstormers 1-0. We hand things over to Austin Rooney when we return on your home for Blue Crabs baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the 4th from the Reg in Waldorf. Glad to have you back with us as Melvin Morales steps in. First pitch from Denson Hull is swung on and fouled off to the right side. Melvin Mercedes, I beg your pardon. And the count 0-1. Well, Denson Hull certainly off to a strong start today. He's gone 3 innings of work, allowed just 1 hit. He has also walked a batter. Recorded 9 outs, faced 10 batters. First, the 0-1. I guess a little bit low on Mercedes. In the count, a ball and a strike.
Here's an interesting stat for you, Austin. We talked about the fact that to this point in the game, both pitchers have been pretty solid. Only 1 hit so far in this game. But Augie Silk has yet to force a batter to swing and miss, Austin.
Huh. Very interesting. As the 1-1 pitch is a called strike, in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Count a ball and 2 strikes, nobody on. And the 1-2 just a little bit low, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-hitter in the Barnstormers lineup, Melvin Mercedes, will be followed by Andretti Cordero and Kelly Dugan. Now, Andrew, it's going to be your job here in the 4th, 5th, and 6th to come up with some dog trivia for me as the 2-2 is cut on and lined up the middle for a base hit.
I would be delighted, Austin.
All right, I'm going to give you some time. I don't want to put you on the spot here.
Thank you.
But we're going to go with all sorts of dogs. We might even have some questions on marsupials later on. Not dogs necessarily. Your favorite marsupial, Andrew. We're going to get there.
A couple of things on that. I would venture to guess I don't know how those two connect. And B, I don't know that I have a favorite marsupial. But I guess we'll get to that later in the game.
Well, runner on first and nobody out. Top of the 4th, the Barnstormers trail the Blue Crabs 1-0. This pitch driven in the air, deep right field, sends Hibbert all the way back in front of the wall where he makes a two-handed catch, throws it quickly to second, but Melvin Mercedes tags from first to second, and there's a runner on second now with one out for the Barnstormers. Very well hit the other way from Andretti Cordero, probably the best hit ball we've seen all evening. So Dugan steps in from the left side. Mercedes from second.
And that actually was one of the hardest hit balls this evening. That came off the bat at 97 miles an hour.
Wow. This is courtesy of Baseball Savant, yes?
Yeah, it is. Sure is.
First pitch, fastball at the thigh level, and the count 0-1 on Kelly Dugan. Well, Denson Hull has been pounding the strike zone tonight. 30 strikes. He has thrown 20 balls, but he's really kept the walks to a minimum. 0-1, a little away in the count, a ball and a strike. Hull has gone 3 1/3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 4. And walks had been a bit of an issue for Hull prior to this. Coming into today's game, he'd walked 6 batters in 8 1/3. The 1-1 from Hull. Swinging a foul tip back to the screen behind home plate. And the count, a ball and 2 strikes. And Andrew, it was not a great day here in the morning into the early afternoon. The clouds, some rain last night. And there was fear there was going to be rain late afternoon today into the evening, but nothing happened. We were very fortunate.
Yeah, we had the tarp rolled out at about 4:45, brought it back out at about 5:15 with the fears of rain, but it ended up evading us. Thankful for that we were able to get the game in this evening.
1-2 from Hull. Swing and a miss. Well, Dugan goes chasing at a curveball low and away, and there are 2 outs here in the top of the 4th, I should say. And it's still 1-0 Blue Crabs.
5 strikeouts now for Denson Hull. He has his off pitch going this evening.
Well, that sends up Mark Zagoonas. Zagoonas, one of just 2 Barnstormers who have a hit tonight. He singled, stole second, and was stranded on third base back in the 2nd inning.
That last pitch, a slider at 80 miles an hour from Denson Hull.
And what's his highest velocity tonight while you're at it?
Just a touch over 90.
All right, the first pitch, breaking ball at the knees for a called strike. Mark Zagoonas does not like it, but the count 0-1 nonetheless. And you see some guys in the Atlantic League who really have a lot of velocity. Andres Briseño, one of those guys. A lot of the guys who've pitched in AA and AAA do have the higher velocities. And in the MLB today, Andrew, it's hard to find a guy who throws under 90.
It's true. It's very true. And you see 2 guys here this evening that can touch 90, but both of them really rely on their secondary pitches, neither of which have a fastball. Both rely on the sinker, changeup, slider combination.
0-1 on the inner half, and the count 0-2. And it's interesting to see some of these guys get a shot at the MLB who don't throw quite as hard. A lot of those guys end up making the MLB a little bit later in their career than some of the hard-throwing, fastball guys. Absolutely. Who might be able to throw 103 at the age of 20.
You can compensate with that, but, the guys that don't throw quite as hard have to figure out their craft a little longer.
0-2. Breaking ball, a little bit upstairs, and the count, ball and 2 strikes. Never really fully broke that time.
Yeah, and you don't see Denson Hull throw a ton of off-speed pitches here this evening. 26 sinkers, 23 changeups, and just 6 off-speed pitches in terms of slider curveballs.
Runner on second, 2 outs. Blue Crabs still have a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, shallow center field. Sundberg coming in on the run. He makes the grab for the final out. Well, the Barnstormers strand 1 at the end of 3.5 at Southern Maryland 1. And the Barnstormers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Blue Crabs. First pitch to the cleanup hitter, David Harris, a called strike on the inner half, and the count 0-1. Well, Harris followed by Alex Crosby and Zach Collier, 4, 5, and 6 in the Blue Crabs order. And the 0-1 pitch, right down Darryl Thompson drive for a called strike, and the count 0-2. We were talking about this yesterday, and we decided on, instead of right down Main Street as the 0-2 pitch a little in, or right down Broadway, we're going right down Darryl Thompson drive for our called strikes here. We got to personalize it a little bit here in Southern Maryland.
It only feels right.
1-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball over to short, fielded by Hoover. The throw to first in time, and a quick first out from Augie Silk, who has really pitched quite well, has not had any hard contact that he's allowed. His issue's been the control.
Yeah, and it's interesting because to this point in the game, Austin, by all means, he probably should have a lead right now. His team behind him has 2 errors. He has not allowed a hit to this point in the game.
Yeah, well, the Blue Crabs have surrendered just 2 hits. And Hull's pitched quite well. He's walked 1, allowed 2 hits. As the first pitch, a called strike on Alex Crosby. On the other side, for Silk, he's gone 3 1/3. No hits, but he's walked 4. And it's going to come back to bite you, and so far it has, as the pitch, a called strike.
Yeah, in fact, that out on David Harris is the first time in this game he has not walked the leadoff batter of an inning.
Yeah, well, it shows. The 0-2 pitch, low and away, and the count, a ball and 2 strikes on Crosby. Well, Southern Maryland scored their only run back in the third on a collection of walks and errors as the 1-2 pitch is low and away and gets by the catcher, Perrone, when he's quickly up to get it.
One of these days, somebody's going to steal first base
At
again.
some point, sometime, someone will.
If you aren't familiar, the Atlantic League has re-implemented the stealing first base rule. If the catcher doesn't catch it, you can take first.
2-2, cut on and fouled off, third base side, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think a lot of the hitters are just very reluctant to do so, almost as if there's an unwritten rule among the players. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's almost like they have a massive group text, and they were all like, seriously, nobody do this, because nobody's done it at all.
2-2 pitch, comes up and in and hits Crosby on the thigh. And it's not a walk for Silk, but he has given somebody a hit-by pitch. So a runner on first base nonetheless, with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning.
It's his 5th free pass issued so far in this contest, and he's issued at least 1 free pass in each inning so far.
So Zach Collier comes to the plate. He's the 6th hitter in the Southern Maryland lineup. Crosby from first. Austin Rooney, Andrew Banstra here on Bark in the Park. Wagon Wednesday. Whatever you want to use as your terminology for dogs coming to the field, it's coming here today. First pitch is away to Zach Collier in the count, a ball and no strikes. Southern Maryland scored the only run today back in the bottom of the 3rd. Haug walked. Then he reached second on a wild pitch. And the pitch cut on, high fly ball, left field, shallow. Zagoonas takes 3 steps in and makes the catch for the 2nd out. Well, back to the run scored from the Blue Crabs after Haug advanced to second on the wild pitch. There was a failed pickoff move from Augie Silk into center field, and Ladarius Clark overran it. And it allowed Haug to come all the way around from second to score. So a throwing error, a bit of a fielding error, a wild pitch, a walk, all those things add up, and the Blue Crabs have a run and a 1-0 lead here in the 4th inning. Well, here comes Matt Hibbert, grounded into a 4-3 double play as the first pitch is away for ball one. Andrew, I hope you're doing your research on dogs for some dog trivia.
Oh, you bet it. You betcha. I am ready.
So I'm looking forward to answering some of these questions. We can go multiple choice or non-multiple choice as the first pitch is upstairs, or the 1-0, I should say, is upstairs to Matt Hibbert, and the count 2-0.
All right, I've got one for you.
You got one. All right, let's go.
What was the most common dog name in 2021? Stella, Bella, Max, or Rex?
2-0 in there for a called strike. Stella, Bella, Max, or Rex. Now, you got a dog named Stellar or Stella.
I do.
Now, I think you threw that in for good measure because I don't think that is the answer. Unless you're playing some reverse psychology on me here. 2-1 upstairs in the count 3-1. So that leaves you with Bella, Rex, and Max. I feel like Max is more of a person's name. And Rex can be as well. I'm going to go Bella.
You're correct.
All right.
I thought you'd go Max for sure because that was the most common dog name for like 10 years in a row.
Really?
It was. I don't even know any dogs named Bella.
That's a good point. I don't either. 3-1. Swinging a ground ball over to short, and it gets under the glove of Jake Hoover, the shortstop who tried to play it on the backhand. And runners on first and second now with 2 outs. It's a ball that Hoover should at least field properly on the backhand. He was in position. And I imagine it's going to go down as another error.
You would think so. Likely the third Barnstormers error of this game. And that, once again, underscores the point. Southern Maryland is really, in many ways, being given this game. They've gotten 5 free passes in addition to 3 Barnstormers errors. That's putting 8 runners on base despite not a single hit from Southern Maryland.
Yeah, certainly a tough break for the Barnstormers this far. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. I vote error. Andrew, what do you say?
I vote error as well, and that's what it was.
Double steal. The runners go. Thrown into left field. It's going to allow another run to come around and score. It's Alex Crosby, who was at second base for the double steal, and a throwing error by the catcher, Anthony Perrone. And now 2 Blue Crabs runs on the board without a single hit.
Not something you see every day, Austin, but we'll take it. And, again, Stan Clyburn in our postgame interview said last night we're playing fantastic baseball. Not to take anything away from that, but he also said in a 9-game win streak, sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way. He was saying it has been bouncing the Blue Crabs' way, shown again once more there with the 1-0 count.
So it's 2-0 Southern Maryland. Count a ball and no strikes with a runner on third. 1-0. That's inside in the count 2-0. So Ryan Haug, who is the catcher, he walked first time up. Came around to score the first Blue Crabs run on a throwing error by the pitcher, Augie Silk, and then an error out in center by Ladarius Clark. And the 2-0 is cut on and fouled off right field side, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Here in historic Waldorf at the Reg. So we're glad to have you with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. 2-1 pitch, swinging a line drive, foul behind home plate, in the count 2-2. Andrew, and it's baseball and education night, or day. It's not a night game. It's a morning game, in fact, tomorrow at 11 a.m. So everybody will get here very early. Excited for that. And an early baseball game. Game should be, finished up by mid-afternoon. 2-2. It's upstairs and away in the count 3-2. Andrew, you looking forward to that one?
Sure am. And then the Blue Crabs head for a quick 3-game road trip to Kentucky. They'll face the Wild Health Genomes before returning for 6 more games here at home.
A lot of home games to start the season before the Blue Crabs go on a long road trip at the end of the month. 3-2, swinging a line drive, left center field. This is going to drop. It's extra bases for Ryan Hogg. 1 run scores. Hibbert comes in from third. It's an RBI double, the first hit of the night for the Blue Crabs, and they lead this one 3-0.
And if you're Stan Clyburn and in particular Denson Hull, who's had a fantastic game, Not at all to take anything away from him, but you got to like what you're seeing. First hit of the game, Southern Maryland's leading 3-1.
Doesn't try to do too much with it. It's just a pitch left out over the plate. And extra bases as he finds the gap. And Haug is hitting the ball very, very well, especially for a catcher. And I think what a lot of major league and affiliated clubs look for when they're looking to pick someone up is somebody who can do something well out of the ordinary. And that's something that Haug can do. He's a catcher who hits well, and there aren't a lot of those guys. First pitch to Baca, swung on and popped up foul, first base side, out of play. Count no balls and 1 strike on the 9-hitter Baca. Blue Crabs have 2 runs in here in the 4th and lead this one 3-0.
It'd be huge if you could get this 4th run, and it would really feel like a much larger Blue Crabs lead.
Haug from second, 0-1. Swinging a line drive, foul again, first base side, going to get into the seats, out of play, and the count 0-2. Andrew, we've got some great spots in the ballpark that we've seen some foul balls to in the last couple of days. A few balls over toward the Legends Club, a few balls overhead here in the press box. Do you have a favorite spot in this ballpark?
Just in general?
Just in general.
I like the Mini Monster a lot.
Like the Mini Monster?
I think it's the best view in the stadium.
All right, very cool. The picnic deck up top or inside the Mini Monster?
On top.
All right.
Question.
0-2. That's up and away. And the count 1-2.
How about yourself?
I've never actually been able to watch a game from the Legends Club. I was working on a documentary in the Legends Club one time.
With who? Oh, I remember it was a Atlantic League documentary. I do recall. Michael Baca trying to get it back going. Mentioned the bat hasn't quite been there yet, but anything that bloops into center field brings a run home. That's really all you could ask for if you're Southern Maryland.
Count 2-1 now. Runner on second base. The bottom of the 4th. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left center field again. Zagoonas going to have to run after this one. He gives way to the center fielder, Ladarius Clark, who makes the catch for the final out. Well, Michael Baca gave that ball a ride to left center. At the end of 4 innings of play, the Blue Crabs have added 2 more. They lead this one 3-0 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Hibbert, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come on.
Top of the fifth here at the Reg in Waldorf. Regency Furniture Stadium, the home of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. As Southern Maryland has a 3-0 lead on just one hit today, 4 errors from the Barnstormers. The Blue Crabs scored 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and had the 3-0 lead.
And you know, this is really a Blue Crabs team that has been propelled by their offense. I mean, we talked about it in their in the first of their now 9-game win streak. The first 8 games, they averaged 10 runs per game. Scored just 2 last night, 3 so far this evening, but just 1 hit so far in the ball game. 2 runs scored for the Blue Crabs before they even had a hit.
And 2 of probably the 3 best hit balls today weren't hits. That ball hit by Baca was probably hit 380 feet to left center as the first pitch, a swing and a miss on Conor Lean, the former Blue Crab. But Michael Baca had a double. That one did fall, and that was probably one of the other hardest hit balls. And then a fly out to right as well as a very well hit ball from Zagoonas there in the fourth. Or I beg your pardon, I believe that was actually Ruby Silva for the Blue Crabs. A 1 pitch to Lean. Swung on and fouled back to the netting in the count 0-2. Base paths empty in the top of the fifth as Lean leads things off for the Barnstormers. The Barnstormers have no runs on 2 hits. They have walked once. And that's been the real positive for Denson Hall, who's coming up on just his 60th pitch here in the 5th inning. Off speed, well up and away. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Conor Lean.
Incredibly, Denson Hall has still not allowed an earned run. He's now pitched well over 10 innings into his 3rd start of the season. Still the only qualified pitcher in the Atlantic League with a perfect ERA.
1-2, that misses in the count 2-2. He's gone 12 1/3 total innings. 4 innings in his first start, 4 1/3 in his second. He's gone 4 innings here in his 3rd start.
And with the pitch count as low as it is, you could think he'll at least get 5 in this game.
Right, and I don't think he's up to 100 pitches quite yet, as the 2-2 is inside in the count 3-2. But unless he runs into some real trouble here in the 5th, I'd imagine he can at least go 5 and maybe has a chance to start the 6th.
Hole at 62 pitches, whereas Augie Silk up to 87. You wonder how much longer he goes, despite allowing just 1 hit.
3-2. Swinging a ground ball. The shortstop diving stop by Baca. The throw to first, not quite in time. What a play by Baca. He lays out to prevent that ball from going into left field. Throws across the body and nearly got him at first base. But it's going to be an infield single for Conor Lean, so a runner on first base with nobody out.
Yeah, and it looked right after he laid all the way out, he stood up and kind of had to spin and double clutch, as one does when laying all the way out. And I think that was the difference in that throw. But again, we talked about it earlier. Michael Baca mentioned to us that the bat is going to come and go, but the glove is always going to be there. And he is a very, very good defender to have it short for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs.
Yeah, no question about that. And Baca's average isn't there for now. As the first pitch swinging from Anderson Felice, first base side, as Walker and Silva give chase. They run out of room as it gets into the seats. And the count 0-1 on the right-handed hitter.
Southern Maryland riding a franchise record 9-game win streak. They lost on their very first game of the season and have won their they've won each of their last 9 games.
Count, no balls and a strike on Anderson Felice. Conor Lean, the former Blue Crab, leads off of first. A nice pickoff move by Hull. Very quick motion.
It's a really difficult move for a left-hander to make. You step off and throw immediately, but your balance isn't there at all because you're essentially stepping backwards as you throw straight in front of you.
And the 0-1 is a little bit low, below the knees, in the count, a ball and a strike on Anderson Feliz. Always fun to come out to a ballpark on a Wednesday night. Even if you have some schoolwork to do, some school tomorrow, get the schoolwork done. Come out to the ballpark. Tomorrow we don't have that. It's a day game, 11 a.m. Maybe if you either are a kid who is watching or you have kids who might be watching, they might be in attendance tomorrow as part of the Baseball and Education Day.
Very well might be. We have on our TikTok videos, if you don't follow us on TikTok, at Blue Crabs, we've been getting tons of comments from kids saying, I'm going to be at your game on X, Y, and Z date for your Baseball and Education Day. So we're excited to have them in the house tomorrow.
1-1 pitch is low in the count, 2-1. We have 2 Baseball and Education Days coming up, right?
Absolutely.
2-1, swinging a ground ball to short, on to second for 1, back on to first, a double play. 6, 4, 3, double play, and they're 2 away in the top of the 5th.
What a disgusting combination between Michael Baca and Ruby Silva. Baca makes it look easy, whips it to second, and Ruby Silva, an outfielder by trade, fires to first for out number 2. And that's how you keep this lead if you're Southern Maryland.
Well, during tomorrow's broadcast, we're going to have some educationally themed things going on. Some geography, some fun countries from all across the world that we'll be discussing.
I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Austin's a big geography guy.
You play some GeoGuessr and you hear about all these great countries around the world during the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. How do you not love some of these great places?
Papua New Guinea.
That's a great one. PNG. First pitch upstairs for ball 1 on the 8-hitter, Anthony Perrone.
This is our Landon's Ice Cream K-Man of the game, Anthony Perrone. If he strikes out, a lucky section will get free ice cream from Landon's Ices and Creams.
I believe you already did strike out, right?
I believe so, but it is my understanding, at least earlier in the year, every time they struck out, another section got one.
I see. Well, the count 1-0 on Perrone for now. Nobody on, 2 outs following the double play ball. I beg your pardon, 2-0 after the second pitch missed inside. So Hull now set. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, center field. Sundberg drifts from right center, a little deeper into center field where he makes the catch with 2 hands for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs unconventionally retire the Barnstormers in order 1, 2, 3 following the double play. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through here at the Reagan Waldorf. The Blue Crabs 3, the Barnstormers nothing.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the fifth inning from the Reg in Waldorf. 3-0 Blue Crabs lead. Jack Sundberg will be coming to the plate. There's a new pitcher for the Lancaster Barnstormers. There's an identity of another person, though, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Andrew, who was that?
It was Cesar Milan was the dog whisperer. We were given that answer from a fan on Facebook. Thank you for that.
Well, the first pitch missed low to Jack Sundberg. I remember it was on the tip of my tongue. Couldn't quite get the name out of my mouth there. New pitcher is Oscar De La Cruz. And he comes in his first year in the Atlantic League as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and tapped foul. Count 1-1 on Jack Sundberg. Played in AA and AAA last year with the New York Mets organization.
He's made 2 appearances this season, pitching 2 innings. In his first appearance, he pitched 1 inning, no hits, 2 strikeouts, no runs. In his last appearance, however, 1 inning, 5 hits, 5 earned runs in that contest.
So a tale of 2 appearances as the 1-1 pitch is a little bit low, and the count 2 balls and a strike on the left-handed hitting Jack Sundberg. Well, completely unsurprisingly, Jack Sundberg has reached 2 times, and he's reached 2 times via 2 walks, as the 2-1 is outside, and that's 3-1. He's walked 11 times in this homestand.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He leads the Atlantic League in walks drawn, and finally, we do see some action in Southern Maryland's bullpen. Denson Hull has gone 5 innings scoreless. Pitch count up near 70.
3-1, swinging a high pop-up. Shallow left center, sends the shortstop Hoover out, gives way to the left fielder Zagoonas, who makes a 2-handed catch right behind the shortstop, Jake Hoover, for the first out. A little surprised, honestly, that Sundberg decided to swing at that pitch, considering how patient he's been at the plate.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. It was a little surprising off the bat, but, to your point from earlier, with a guy with such great plate vision, he knows when he's going to see the one that he wants to go for.
Didn't get the best of Wood on that ball. And here comes the 2-hitter Ruby Silva. I have notes on both Sundberg and Silva after this pitch. It's a fastball at the belt for a called strike, 0-1. Now, Sundberg, after today's game, has now reached base successfully in 11 consecutive games. And Ruby Silva has a 9-game streak that's currently on the line. 1-0. That runs a little in, and the count, I beg your pardon, 1-1. First pitch was a called strike at the belt.
I've got some dog trivia for you.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, so earlier in the contest, when you gave me dog trivia,
Yep.
you brought up a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Yep.
Now,
2-0 pitch cut on and fouled off to the third base side out of play. Count 2-1. Go ahead.
I'm going to bring that back to you.
Yeah.
Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Yep.
Where do they come from?
I'm going to say they come from Zimbabwe.
How did you know that?
Am I right?
Yes. You had to have known that.
I did. 2-1. Foul back in the count 2-2.
How did you possibly know that? How did you?
I watched a TV show, and they were featured on the TV show.
Oh, I see.
It's your favorite TV show.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here's a question. Which breed of dog was originally bred to hunt wolves? I don't think you're going to get this one.
Mastiff?
No, it's an Irish wolfhound.
Okay. Well, it's in the name, right?
Yes.
Count 2-2 on Silva. Swinging a ground ball. Third base, side base hit. It gets past the third baseman, Cordero. Silva takes a long round around first and will stop there. It's a 1-out base hit for Ruby Silva, just the second hit of the day for the Blue Crabs. And Ruby Silva has extended his on-base streak to 10 in a row. You don't always have to do all that much with it, and the ability to go the other way for a left-handed pull hitter is so important. And Ruby Silva does the most with it with the base hit the other way. And there's a runner on first with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
Man, a 10-game hit streak 11 games into the season is quite remarkable.
Just one time this year has he not recorded a hit. It was actually last game when the Blue Crabs were held to a total of 5 hits as Oscar De La Cruz tosses over to first base, and
Beg your pardon.
Silva scampers back to the bag, but he did reach via a walk, so it's an on-base streak, not a hit streak, to be perfectly precise. And it was the only walk that Silva's had all year. The pitch to the three-hitter Jared Walker, a fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1.
I got one more for you.
Okay, I know, I'm looking forward to this one.
Which is faster, a greyhound or a cheetah?
It's like a trick question?
That's just my question.
A cheetah.
The answer is a greyhound.
In what sense? Well, we're going to get there in a second. 1-0 pitch, a little up and away to Walker in the count 2-0, the count 1-1. The first pitch was a called strike. Getting a little confused here with our scoreboard. So the count, a ball and a strike here on Jared Walker. So go ahead. Explain this, because
I have no explanation. I'm just going off of a dog trivia website, to be perfectly frank. I didn't.
Oh no!
I didn't do the test myself, but that's what it's telling me.
Well, I don't think that's right, but I'm gonna look it up myself here.
Please.
And the 1-1 pitch, called strike on a breaking ball in the inner half, and the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Let me know what you get back on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out as we speak.
Jared
The
Walker.
Cheetah would win, no problem at all. The Cheetah's top recorded speed is 65 miles an hour and are capable of much more, and Greyhounds can't run nearly that fast.
Well, maybe one of the websites is wrong and the other's right. Who's to say which is right?
1-2 pitch, called strike 3 on Jared Walker, as they say. Never trust what you read on the internet.
Does that include what you just said?
This is from the Smithsonian Magazine.
Oh.
A cheetah can run 75. The Greyhound can run 43.
To be perfectly transparent, I trust that more than groupgames101.com. So let's go with your answer.
Well, there's a runner on first and 2 outs at the bottom of the 5th inning. Here comes David Harris.
Nothing against groupgames.com.
I'm sure they've got great content, great sources.
They do.
All their sources are peer-reviewed and well-checked, yeah?
Absolutely.
Right.
The Smithsonian as well, but Group Games.
Oh, Group Games 101.
101.
First pitch to Harris, swinging a ground ball over to short. Easy for Hoover. He flips to second, and that'll do it. We're done with 5 innings of play. The Blue Crabs 3, the Barnstormers nothing. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Raul Shah, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the 6th inning from the Reg in Waldorf. 3-0 Blue Crabs. Southern Maryland scored a run in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th, and they've got a new pitcher on the mound. It's Bradley Roney.
Yeah, Roney, a guy that we did not see yesterday as part of that triple-headed monster of the Blue Crabs bullpen, but you almost, in a sense, you have 2 sets of relievers. You have Nick Wells, Andres Briseño, and Matt Latos, and then you have Bradley Roney, Dalton Geeky, and you name the third. Really a lot of options for Stan Clyburn.
He's got a ton, and I think this is a bullpen for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs that is not only outstanding with their top arms, but it's deep as well. As the first pitch is cut on and fouled back to Conor Lean, or I beg your pardon, to Anthony Perrone, who leads off the 6th. Oh, one more try here. It's Jake Hoover. I was keeping score here on my scorecard and didn't have that last batter noted. Well, the pitch is a little bit low to the 9-hitter Hoover. Well, let's take a look at the last time that Bradley Roney pitched for the Blue Crabs. It was against the Kentucky Wild Health Genomes. The pitch gets past the catcher, Haug, quickly recovers. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Against Kentucky, he pitched 1 inning, allowed 1 walk, and he struck out 1. On the year, 5 innings, 5 appearances. 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts in 4 innings. Shows just how strong his stuff is. 2-1 pitch. Big wave and a miss. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jake Hoover. Base paths empty here in the top of the 6th.
And Roney has only once this year allowed runs. He allowed all 3 of his earned runs in his 427 appearance right here at home against the Fairy Hawks.
2-2. Just off the outside edge. And the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on Jake Hoover, who popped out to second his first time up.
Looking at the scores across the Atlantic League, the High Point Rockers leading the Long Island Ducks 11-3 in the bottom of the 6th.
3-2. Swinging the foul back yet again. The Blue Crabs now have a 4-game lead over the Ducks.
Would be 5 if both scores hold this evening. Interestingly, all throughout last season, the biggest lead the Blue Crabs had was a 3-game advantage. Here, 10 games into the 2022 season, already a 4-game lead. Could be 5 by the end of the night.
As the Blue Crabs go for their first ever double-digit win streak, the 3-2 pitch. Right down, Darrell Thompson drive, called strike 3. Jake Hoover doesn't like it. I'm not sure what he was waiting for. Looked pretty perfect from up here.
And just like that, Bradley Roney gets yet another strikeout. You mentioned the high strikeout numbers. He's made 5 appearances, Austin, all of which have gone exactly 1 inning. He struck out at least 1 batter in all of his appearances, with 4 of those 5 at least 2 strikeouts.
He's averaged 2 strikeouts per inning. He now has 11 strikeouts and 5 1/3. First pitch to Ladarius Clark, a called strike on a swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. Base paths empty with 1 out. Ladarius Clark, who is the leadoff hitter for the Barnstormers, digs back in. Here's the pitch. Another big wave and a miss. Count 0-2. More action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Would you be surprised if the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs maybe go to Geeky this time and pair him maybe with Briseño and Latos again?
I would not be surprised at all, especially to get the 10th straight win. I think it sounds worth it.
Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball outside corner, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks to start the evening from Bradley Roney, and they're 2 away. And not only back-to-back Ks, but back-to-back looking strikeouts for Bradley Roney. And you can tell he's tying up and freezing these batters.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He looks fantastic out on the mound right now with tons of confidence.
Here's Melvin Mercedes, who digs in. First pitch, fastball, inner half of the belt, and the count 0-1. Andrew, if you come up with any other dog trivia between now and the bottom of the sixth, I'd love to see some more. I know you've already had your fair share with the Trivia 101 or Games 101.
Absolutely. GroupGames101.com.
I'm very sorry.
It's okay.
I hope they forgive me.
They just might.
Maybe. 0-1. Swinging a foul tip in the count 0-2.
Baseball Savant currently gives the Blue Crabs a 91% chance of winning this contest.
All right. I think that's probably fair.
Bradley Roney features a fastball slider changeup combination. The fastball, a four-seamer, and it sits at 93 miles an hour.
That's the kind of velocity that MLB teams are at least interested in. 3-2, swinging a line drive right to the second baseman, Ruby Silva, who takes about 3 steps towards second to make the catch. A one-handed catch at the line, on the line at chest level for the final out of the top of the sixth. The Blue Crabs 3, the Barnstormers nothing. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Stick with us on Dog Day.
So, what do you like about your home?
Go outside sometimes. Practice like hockey. I like to build Legos at home. Ride my dirt bike.
Hometown isn't just a part of our name, it's who we are. We know Southern Maryland because it's our hometown. We are Hometown Real Estate. We'll see you at the park, the grocery store, or the ball field. And we know why living here is great. Give us a call today at 443-275-9910 or visit us online at wehelpyouhome.com. We are your neighbors. We are Hometown Real Estate. Let us help you home.
This is Austin Rye, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning from Southern Maryland. The Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead over the Barnstormers, and here comes Alex Crosby, the 5-hitter. First pitch, breaking ball cut on and missed from Crosby, in the count 0-1. Oscar De La Cruz back out for his second inning of work. He threw 15 pitches in his first inning. The 0-1, swinging a line drive, first base line foul. Well hit by Crosby, though, on the count 0-2.
Yeah, that one couldn't have been much closer to fair territory.
In De La Cruz's first inning of work, he allowed a single to Ruby Silva, but otherwise worked out of an inning pretty cleanly. He'll face Crosby, Collier, and Hibbert. The Blue Crabs have a total of 2 hits. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning, looking to add on to that lead.
Here's a dog trivia question for you.
All right, I'd like to hear it.
Shouldn't be too difficult after this pitch.
0-2, swung on and fouled back.
What is a group of puppies called?
A litter?
A litter.
All right.
How about... let's wait just a moment on this one.
All right. 0-2 to Crosby. Swinging a tapper foul, first base side. For those of you who are wondering, why the dog trivia? What's going on? Well, it's Dog Day here at the Reg, also known as Wagon Wednesday, Bark in the Park. There's so many different ways to say it, but you got to love it every way it's said.
It's true.
And if you don't like dogs, I don't know what to tell you. 0-2. Just off the inside edge in the count, of ball and 2 strikes on Alex Crosby. De La Cruz, set of the belt. Here's the 1-2. Little in again in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the lefty. Base paths empty, no outs. Blue Crabs 3, Barnstormers nothing. Andrew, are you ready with that question yet?
I sure am. How many teeth do adult dogs have?
Ooh, we're not getting options here, will I?
Let's say it's in between 40 and 60.
2-2, swinging a slow ground ball, first base side, gobbled up by the pitcher, De La Cruz, who flips the first in time to beat Crosby for the first out. I'm going to say 48 teeth.
42.
Okay.
42. Right. It even has a baseball connection.
The Jackie Robinson connection?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, there's one away in the bottom of the 6th inning. Am I surprised? I don't know if I'm surprised. And I'd imagine it depends on breed as well. I don't think every single dog's got 42 teeth.
That's tough to say.
And you lose some teeth. Especially the older dogs. Watch out. They may only have like 10. First pitch to Collier, swung on, hit high in the air, center field. And Ladarius Clark rages over to right center and makes the catch for the second out.
All right, I got one more for you.
All right.
What type of dog was Scooby-Doo?
Ooh. This is a good question. If I remember correctly, he sort of looked like a Rhodesian Ridgeback, but he's not.
Correct. He doesn't really look like what he actually was. Not too much, at least.
A Labrador?
He was a Great Dane.
Huh.
I don't see that, but nonetheless.
I didn't watch all that much Scooby-Doo growing up, to be honest.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
A lot.
First pitch misses away for ball 1 on Matt Hibbert, who squared around a bunt and pulled back in the count, a ball and no strikes. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the Blue Crabs 3, the Barnstormers nothing. 1-0. Swinging a fly ball, first base side, going to get out of play in the count, a ball and a strike. Again, we've got all sorts of additional dog, wolf, even. We talked about this. We're going to go outside of dogs slightly to marsupials maybe. And marsupials that look like dogs. We're going to stay generally with the dog theme. 1-1. Swinging a foul ball, first base side, and the count 2-1. We're going to go with things that at least pass as dogs. If you try to get them passed off as a dog, it would at least count.
Okay.
So I don't think we'd reject any of these animals at the gate. But I shouldn't be too sure.
You know, it's interesting. When we were having a promotional meeting this past offseason, I'll get to it after this pitch.
1-2. A little bit low in the count, 2-2.
We had discussed, and it never came to fruition. Maybe next year it will, but we had discussed as part of a crazy minor league promotion, as there's so many of them out there, rather than bark in the park, just say pet in the park. And no matter what your pet is, if you have a giraffe, a kangaroo, bring it in. We thought that'd be fantastic, but I don't know how many exotic animals are out there, and it really could get dangerous fast.
You don't want tigers out here.
You don't, unless they're the Detroit Tigers, of course.
But if there's any kind of tiger,
that's true.
There are not that many animals that will go after humans. Tigers will.
Okay.
Tigers will. I do know that. 2-2. Swinging a ground ball foul, third base side, toward the Blue Crabs dugout. Base paths empty in the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Crabs scored 3 runs on just 1 hit at the time. They have 2 hits now. Scored 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. Here's the 2-2 from Oscar De La Cruz. Whoa, way up and in and behind Hibbert. He claims it hit him. And it looks like it did. He's going to go to first base.
Yeah, I believe Tim Detweiler concurs with Matt Hibbert. He gets the free pass. Yet another for the Blue Crabs. And that means 5 of the 6 first innings have included a free pass given to the Blue Crabs.
And the Blue Crabs have reached base in all 6 innings. Only scored a total of 3 runs, though. And you'd think if you were the Barnstormers having allowed 2 hits, maybe you had a 0 allowed to the Blue Crabs on the board, but no, 3 runs thanks to 4 errors. The first 2 Blue Crabs runs both scored because of throwing errors trying to get runners at certain bases. A double steal the second time, the first one on a pickoff move. As the first pitch is a called strike to Ryan Haug. He scored the first run of the game, was on second base when the starting pitcher, Augie Silk, tried to pick him off at second, instead threw into center field and allowed Haug to come all the way around and score. And then in the 4th inning, there was another run that came around. It was Matt Hibbert and Alex Crosby who scored in the 4th. Alex Crosby was on second when they had a double steal and they threw it into left field. And he came all the way around to score as well to give the Blue Crabs a 2-0 lead. That was before Ryan Haug lined an extra base hit into left center. Well, the 1-0 pitch was a called strike. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. It's the only extra base hit in today's game. And Haug has been on base twice today. 1-1. Big wave and a miss. Count 1-2. Haug batting .360 and OPS of .926. Haug, 27 years old, former 27th round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's the 1-2. That's away. Count 2-2.
You know, through the first nearly 14 innings of offense for the Blue Crabs in this series, they've combined for just 7 hits and a total of 5 runs. But at the same time, the Crabs have only allowed 1 run so far in this series.
And the Blue Crabs hadn't been involved in all that many pitchers' duels up to this point in this win streak. Again, they put up 16 and 14 in 2 different games against the Genomes, scored 21 against Kentucky. 2-2, way up and in, and it hits Ryan Haug on that elbow protector, the upper arm. So back-to-back hit batsmen from Oscar De La Cruz, and the runner's on first and second with 2 outs.
Yeah, he's lucky he had that protector on his left elbow. Obviously, that's become more and more common in this game, and having that might have saved him the rest of this game. And now, just like that, you got 2 on with 2 down for Southern Maryland.
And the catcher in today's game, Anthony Perrone, going to have a conversation with Oscar De La Cruz. Michael Baca coming to the plate next.
And somebody just ran to the Lancaster bullpen to start warming. You got to wonder if this meeting is just buying time for the new arm that is quickly warming in Lancaster's bullpen.
I don't think there's quite enough time right now to get that pitcher ready. I mean, if you haven't started warming up yet, maybe if he's 15 pitches into his warm-up, but, I mean, you can't stand here for 10 minutes.
It's true. I think that more than anything, it's a precautionary move. You're trying to buy a little bit of time. You're not going to go to the new arm right now, but should things get out of control, maybe one more hit, hopefully that pitcher is ready by that point.
And here is the 9-hitter Michael Baca, and this is an important one for Lancaster because for a couple of reasons here. But first of all, for the Barnstormers, he is only batting .125, and when we say there really isn't a hole in this Blue Crabs lineup, there's one hitter you can say you're most likely to get out. Baca, he's had a tough start to the year, and we know he can get hits, but right now he's slumping a little bit as Oscar De La Cruz steps off. So, if you want to get one batter in particular with 2 outs, this is the time to get it in the bottom of the Blue Crabs order.
Last time up, Baca drilled one to left center field, hung up just a little bit too long, and was caught just in front of the fence.
Yeah, it was one of the better hit balls today. First pitch to Baca, called strike at the knees, and the count 0-1. Baca has a double and an RBI in the homestand. 0-1. That one a little outside. And the count, a ball and a strike with runners on first and second and 2 outs. The Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead. What really brought Baca's average down was his last game back on April 29th when the Blue Crabs put up 14 runs. but Baca didn't have a hit. And sometimes just one game, and that's all it takes for your average to drop quite a bit. And the 1-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, center field. Playable for Clark as he takes 3 steps back and makes a one-handed catch over his head for the final out of the inning. Well, at the end of 6, it's Southern Maryland 3 and the Barnstormers nothing. You're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Andrew Banstra to the mic when we come back.
This is Andres Briseño, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Welcome back into Regency Furniture Stadium. To the top of the 7th we go here in Waldorf, Maryland. Andrew Banstra joined by Austin Rooney. A newcomer onto the mound for the Blue Crabs in the form of Dalton Geekie, trying to protect this 3-0 lead that his team has put together over the course of the first 6 innings. Geekie's second pitch of the evening in there for a called strike. 1-1 goes the count. Geekie, a heavy, heavy piece of the Blue Crabs in 2021.
I was just going to say, that let's get a look at Geekie's numbers tonight. So far this year, 5 appearances, 5 innings, 5 runs, 3 earned. So far, he has struck out 8 and walked 5. The control a bit of an issue so far for Geekie this year. But there's no question about what he can do. Last year, a 3.22 ERA.
The 1-2 misses outside, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, you mentioned the numbers for Geeky last year. He was fantastic for Southern Maryland, primarily in a 7th inning role. But really, when you got to that triple-headed monster of Geeky, Briseño, and Latos, not much you can do. And Austin, when you can shorten a game like that, it really gives you an advantage as one bloops out to left field, and Andretti Cordero goes down.
A nice catch made out there in left field by Zach Collier. It's well hit, but right to him.
Cordero goes down for a quick out, number 1. That'll bring up the 4th hitter in the Barnstormers lineup. Kelly Dugan 0 for 2 so far in this contest. A fly out in the infield as well as a strikeout swinging last time up. Big swing, big miss, 0-1 goes the count. Looking back at this game to this point, not a lot of offense. 3-0 the score. The Blue Crabs on top. Most of the Blue Crabs' offense this evening has come from fielding mistakes from the Lancaster Barnstormers as one is driven to the right side. Beautiful play from Ruby Silva. 1 bounce and a fire to first for out number 2.
Well, 2 very well-hit balls from the Barnstormers. The first one right at Collier. The second one, a hard one-hopper where Ruby Silva ranges over closer to first base before snagging it and tossing over to first.
The final line on Augie Silk was 4 innings, 1 hit, 3 runs, no earned runs, 4 walks, but the field behind him while he was on the mound had 3 errors. In fact, the Blue Crabs were leading 2-0 by the time that they got their first hit of the game. The Barnstormers were really throwing the ball all around the park, and Southern Maryland was able to take advantage with an early lead. Foul tip to the left side as Mark Zagoonas finds himself in an 0-2 hole. 2 away, nobody on, a 3-0 Blue Crabs lead here on a Wednesday night in Waldorf. Final line for the Blue Crabs starter Denson Hull. 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, no runs. Still a perfect 0.00 ERA. 0-2 chopped foul, and will stay at no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, for the kids coming tomorrow to the game, if you're still listening tonight, it's only 8:57. But temperatures should be low 60s tomorrow, 61 at 11 o'clock. And by the time the game's over around 2, 64 degrees.
Couldn't ask for a better day. The 0-2. High. Almost went for it, did Zagoonas, but was able to hold back. And the count now a ball and 2 strikes. Then came Bradley Roney after Denson Hull. Roney struck out 2 batters in a hitless, scoreless inning, giving way to Dalton Geeky, who now stands atop the mound. The 1-2 offering from Dalton Geeky on the way. Fastball just a touch above the zone, and will even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Austin, there has been more errors in this game than there has been hits, and more errors in this game than there has been runs. 5 total errors, 4 total hits,
wow,
and 3 total runs in this contest.
Well, not what you're looking for, to be completely honest.
2-2 chopped into the dirt, staying alive is Zagoonas. I would tend to agree.
You'd like to have more offense than there have been mistakes, but that's so far just not the case. And I think that part of it's a testament to good pitching, but also part of it's a testament to poor fielding, especially from the Barnstormers here.
Geeky lighting up the radar gun this evening, sitting at 95 miles an hour. The right-hander set at the belt. The 2-2 in the dirt, trying to get Zagoonas to chase. He holds back, and now the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Make sure you catch us this weekend in Kentucky. I'll be bringing you those games live from Kentucky. It'll be our first road trip in the regular season that I'm aware of in Blue Crabs franchise history. We'll be on the road for every game this season as Mark Zagoonas goes down swinging. 1-2-3 inning for Dalton Geeky brings us into the 7th inning stretch. Stand up, get some popcorn if you have it, maybe a Diet Coke. We'll see you on the other end right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Go outside sometimes. Practice like hockey. I like to build Legos at home, ride my dirt bike.
Hometown isn't just a part of our name, it's who we are. We know Southern Maryland because it's our hometown. We are Hometown Real Estate. We'll see you at the park, the grocery store, or the ball field, and we know why living here is great. Give us a call today at 443-275-9910 or visit us online at wehelpyouhome.com. We are your neighbors. We are Hometown Real Estate. Let us help you home.
And you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To the bottom of the seventh we go. Hopefully you were able to gather a snack before we continue with baseball. It'll be the top of the order. That means Jack Sundberg, Ruby Silva, and Jared Walker to face a newcomer into this game. For the Lancaster Barnstormers, it's Tommy Shirley, and he has struggled out of the gates this season, Austin. A 24.55 ERA for the left-hander. 3 2/3 innings, 12 runs, 11 of them. Make that 11 runs, 10 of them earned. Left-on-left matchup. Jack Sundberg takes outside as the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Well, let's get back to some dog trivia because it's Bark in the Park, Dog Day, Wagon Wednesday, all here at the Reg in Waldorf. So I've got another dog trivia for you.
Please.
What is the species of wild dog in Australia?
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, I thought there was more coming.
Well, I can give you a couple hints here what they've done.
I would love that.
Okay. There's a quote I'm going to get to. It's going to be my second hint. The first hint is they outcompeted the thylacine or the Tasmanian tiger in Australia.
Well, that helps. As Jack Sundberg goes down swinging. Strike number 3, the first out of this inning for Tommy Shirley. You know, I'm not going to have an answer for that one. I'm going to go ahead and just ask for it.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a quote here. The blank stole my baby. It's a very famous quote.
I'm drawing a blank.
The dingoes. Have you heard of these animals?
I've heard of the dingo.
Okay.
I've heard dingo babies.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes from.
Got it. Ruby Silva up to the dish.
There was a very famous trial in Australia that a woman claimed that she had a dingo came and stole her baby, and they thought that she had actually, hurt her baby. But in reality, it was a dingo that had come and stolen her baby.
Interesting.
So they can come after humans.
Left-on-left matchup, and that's the second night in a row that we've seen Ross Peoples put in a lefty to face 3 straight left-handed hitters. First 3 batters in the Blue Crabs order are left-handed. Silva takes the 0-2 outside. In fact, 5 of the first 6 Blue Crabs batters in the order are left-handed. No switch hitters for the Crabs this year. Silva asks for time, and it's given from Tim Detweiler, the home plate umpire, I should say. Tommy Shirley, glove in front of the face, digging into his glove. Fastball swung on and missed, and back-to-back strikeouts for Tommy Shirley here to start this bottom of the 7th inning, looking sharp.
Yeah, very good. The lefty has just gone after a couple of batters and really throwing a lot of strikes as well, not backing down, and 2 up and 2 down here.
Tommy Shirley, 33 years old, originally from Oakland, Pennsylvania. Was a 9th-round draft pick out of Xavier University from the Houston Astros back in 2010. Reached the AAA level in 2016 and has been in the Atlantic League and other MLB partner leagues ever since. Played for Southern Maryland for 11 games in 2018. My first year with the Blue Crabs. Left-on-left matchup. A ball and no strikes as Endris Briseño warms in the Blue Crabs bullpen. The 1-0. Jared Walker takes, but it's called strike one. Austin, you mentioned that it might just be Briseño and Latos to close this thing out. I think you're right. You can also about guarantee you will see neither of those individuals tomorrow, given the fact that it's a morning game and they're on back-to-back days of pitching.
Right, I think the Blue Crabs may have to find other options, and that's why they're blessed to have such a deep bullpen.
2 balls and a strike the count. Southern Maryland 9-1 to start the season. They've won 9 straight games. That's a franchise record, as is the 9-1 start to the season for the best in franchise history. They are knocking on the door of their first double-digit win streak in franchise history.
The Blue Crabs will probably have to use Nick Wells quite a bit tomorrow if he's available. He pitched yesterday. And another pitcher they might rely upon, Geeky threw today, but only an inning, and it was pretty quick.
Say the same for Roney.
Yeah, Roney as well. So I think the 3 of them may be the 3 you go with, because Briseño and Latos go back-to-back. They're not going to go again on the 3rd day.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in this bottom of the 7th inning, the 3-hole hitter Jared Walker up to the dish, awaiting Tommy Shirley's delivery. The southpaw comes set out of the stretch. Walker spoils the offering over our heads in the Bayonet press box. Jared Walker hit 5 home runs in the first 9 games of this season. Continues to put good wood on just about everything in the zone. Averaging a home run every other game. Game 11 of 132 here in this 2022 season. The 2-2 once more. Fouled back again into the protective netting. Blue Crabs leading 3-0. 4 total hits in this game. 2 for the Barnstormers, 2 for the Blue Crabs. 4 errors for Lancaster, 1 error for Southern Maryland. Mentioned earlier that there's more errors in this contest than there are hits, and more errors than there are runs. The 2-2. Walker, check swing. It goes in fair territory. Cordero trying to make a play of it. Can't get there. Jared Walker will reach, most likely on a base hit.
Yeah, nicely done by Jared Walker. Was not all that hard hit of a ball. He could hit the ball out of the ballpark. That time, a little number down the 3rd baseline. And by the time that they were able to get it to first base, I think the fielders caught a little bit off guard.
And that will go down as a base hit for Jared Walker, his first of the day, making him 1 for 4, the 3rd hit for the Blue Crabs in this contest. And that gives way to David Harris. Harris 0 for 3 this evening, a fly out, a ground out, and a strikeout. First pitch from Tommy Shirley, laced to the left side, but foul and fielded in foul territory by Endris Briseño, who continues to warm up in Southern Maryland's bullpen. The Blue Crabs won last night's series opener by a score of 2-1. The offense far and few between. Make that few and far between so far in this series. The pitch from Tommy Shirley once again hit to the third base side. Andretti Cordero comes up firing, and this time successfully records out number 3. That's how we say goodbye to 7 innings of baseball here in Waldorf. Inning number 8 on the doorstep. Endris Burseño to take the mound when we return on your home for Blue Crabs Baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To the top of the 8th we go here at the Reg in Waldorf. Andrew Banstra joined by Austin Rooney as we take you through Game 2 of a 3-game set between your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the Lancaster Barnstormers. The Crabs holding a 3-0 lead on the doorstep of finding their way to their first ever 10-game win streak. And things are looking good with Endris Burseño and Matt Latos coming onto the mound, Austin.
Yeah, Endris Burseño has been outstanding so far this season. And last night he struck out the side, allowed only 1 hit, but on the year has a 0 ERA and a whip of 0.83 in 6 innings, 13 strikeouts, 2 hits, and 3 walks.
Really just incredible numbers. What more could you ask for out of Endris Burseño?
Nothing more. Is that fair?
I think that's fair to me. Starting things off in this bottom, make that top of the 8th inning for the Lancaster Barnstormers. With a rip down the left field line, that's Conor Lean. He'll round first looking for extra bases. Zach Collier gobbles it in the left field corner, fires in, but not before Lean can reach second base on a leadoff double.
Yeah, well hit ball, pulled it down the third baseline. The time that Collier got there. An easy double for Lean. Nothing the Blue Crabs could do there. Lean was just right on top of that pitch. Just the third hit Burseño's allowed all year.
That gives way to Trace Lair. Lair, a pinch hitter in this contest. As Endris Burseño comes set, glove at the belt. Here comes the pitch. A curveball misses high and outside. Lair did play last night, a native of Milwaukee, Oregon. Last played for the AAA affiliate of the Texas Rangers with the Round Rock Express. A ball and no strikes the count. Lair awaiting the pitch, the look back. The delivery misses just outside of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Briseño tops out at about 98 miles an hour. The right-hander a fireballer as he misses inside for ball number 3. Uncharacteristic of Andrés Briseño to allow a leadoff hit and start the next batter with a 3-0 count.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he's had his fair share of control issues before. He walked 3 batters already this season in 6 innings. He's hit 2, but to fall behind a count like this after a leadoff hit, not characteristic for sure.
3-0 is in there. 3 balls and a strike the count to the pinch hitting Trace Lair.
The Blue Crabs also have to worry about that runner on second. You don't want him to advance to third and then bring home a run with an out and cut the deficit to 2.
3-1 skied to right field. Coming under it, Matt Hibbert. Tagging at second is Conor Lean. Deep enough it should probably get the runner over. A beautiful throw from Matt Hibbert, not quite in time. The runner in Lean advances to third. 1 away here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, Andrés Briseño at risk of allowing his first run of the season. And the Blue Crabs at risk of allowing their deficit, their lead to slip to 3-1 here in the top of the 8th. Blue Crabs pitching staff up to this point has been really, really good.
Now, the reason that Trace Lair was batting right there is because of the double hook rule, which indicates that if the starting pitcher does not go at least 5 innings, the designated hitter is pulled from the lineup, and the pitcher must bat for themselves. Lair was batting in Tommy Shirley's spot in the lineup, meaning that Shirley's night is over. 0-1 goes the count to Anthony Perrone. Perrone 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out once. The Blue Crabs with 3 hits in this contest. Lancaster with 4. The 0-1 not quite touching the zone as the count evens at a ball and a strike. Barnstormers looking for their first run. We've got a 1-1 count, 1 on and 1 down here in the top of the 8th inning. The 9-1 Blue Crabs trying to make it 10 straight wins as a changeup just creases the top of the zone. And the count 1-2, one of those coveted Andrés Briseño strikeouts would be very timely right now.
Well, I was about to say the same thing. Blue Crabs really looking to keep that runner on third stranded right there in Conor Lean, but strikeout would come up clutch here.
Fastball misses upstairs. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Really no wind here this evening. The ball has not been carrying all that well. We haven't seen too many home runs from the Blue Crabs in this homestand.
The bats have been pretty quiet, at least since that Genome series.
Chopper to the left side, foul from Anthony Perrone. Will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrés Briseño, a Venezuela native. Last season, a 1.87 ERA and was named the 2021 Atlantic League Reliever of the Year. A perfect ERA to this point in the season on the line. The 2-2 high and inside. That may have gotten a piece of Perrone. Instead, he was able to get out of the way. A scary sight there from the fireballer Andrés Briseño.
Yeah, it's never fun when there's a 95-plus mile-an-hour fastball coming right toward your head. You got to get out of the way.
The payoff pitch on its way from Andrés Briseño. Comes set, glove at the belt. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. There it is as Perrone slams his bat into the dirt. And now Andrés Briseño finds himself with 2 away here in the top of the 8th. Looks like Ryan Haug and Anthony Perrone exchanging some words after that at bat, but Perrone finds his way back to the dugout. Tim Detweiler, Austin, did a good job breaking that up.
He did. He got between Haug and Perrone, especially trying to keep Haug back toward the diamond. I mean, Haug is an incredibly important piece for the Blue Crabs, a catcher that can hit quite frequently, and also a good defensive catcher who works well with these pitchers. Got a pinch hitter coming in the form of Colton Shaver batting
for Jake Hoover. Shaver, a 267 hitter, a catcher by trade, got the start yesterday. Briseño's first pitch, high and tight, back Shaver off the plate, and the count 1-0.
The Lancaster Barnstormers have an interesting jersey here. It just says Lanc, L-A-N-C on the front of their jerseys. Do you like the look?
I kind of do. I do. I'm a fan. I think it would be similar in some ways to the Blue Crabs having a jersey that says SOMD. Not quite the same.
I don't know if Lancaster is known as like the Lank.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not familiar enough with the area, although I should be. A ball and a strike the count, 2 away, 1 on. Runner at third is Conor Lean, who reached on a leadoff double. Got to third on a pop out to right. Then a strikeout to Anthony Perrone is given way to Colton Shaver.
Briseño ahead in the count 1-2. You don't want to get a pitch too far out of the zone, though, and risk a pass ball, allowing the run from third to come home and score.
The 1-2 from Briseño. Slapped foul to the left side.
It's a really good curveball that time, and Colton Shaver just barely managed to get the bat on it, foul it off. A late adjustment from Colton Shaver.
A ball and 2 strikes from Enders Briseño, trying to work out of a jam and keep this game scoreless from the Barnstormers side. And that's exactly what the tall right-hander does. Back-to-back strikeouts to quell any efforts coming from the Lancaster Barnstormers. Still a 3-0 lead as Enders Briseño does it again. Another 2-strikeout scoreless inning. And we'll be right back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Go outside sometimes. Practice like hockey. I like to build Legos at home, ride my dirt bike.
Hometown isn't just a part of our name, it's who we are. We know Southern Maryland because it's our hometown. We are Hometown Real Estate. We'll see you at the park, the grocery store, or the ball field, and we know why living here is great. Give us a call today at 443-275-9910 or visit us online at wehelpyouhome.com. We are your neighbors. We are Hometown Real Estate. Let us help you home.
This is Austin Rye, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To the bottom of the 8th inning, Alex Crosby leads things off for the Blue Crabs. It'll be Crosby, Zach Collier, and Matt Hibbert here in the bottom of the 8th. Crosby 0 for 1 this evening. He's reached twice, once in the 2nd inning on a walk, and then again in the 4th inning on a hit by pitch. Crosby also scored a run in this contest. Southern Maryland has drawn 4 walks in this game. Line drive, straightaway center. Ladarius Clark doesn't have to move a muscle. Grabs it out of thin air for out number 1.
Well, Andrew, let's go over our final dog trivia questions of the day. Are you ready for them?
We've been waiting.
Okay. So we go to the famous PNG, for those of you unfamiliar, Papua New Guinea. This species of dog was once thought to be extinct, but they have later been found to still exist in Papua New Guinea. This animal is A, the Highland singing dog, B, the New Guinea painted dog, C, the New Guinea mastiff, or D, the New Guinea dingo.
I'm going to go with the dingo.
The answer is the Highland singing dog. Once thought to be extinct, now it's still out there, and some people think, we'll get to that in a second,
foul ball from Zach Collier as the count evens at a ball and a strike.
That there's a marsupial, a very specific marsupial, known as the Tasmanian tiger, that might still be out there. It looks a lot like the Highland singing dog.
Is that right?
Except it's got some stripes on the back and a stiff tail.
The more you know.
The more you know. The more you know. And I'm sure everybody knows that the Rhodesian Ridgeback is from Zimbabwe.
Everybody knows that.
I mean, everybody knows that.
Some more history in the Atlantic League this evening. Kelsey Whitmore the other day became the first female to ever start a game in the Atlantic League. This evening, she enters the game as the pitcher in that contest. A two-way player is Kelsey Whitmore as the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. Really just an incredible story. We wish Kelsey the best and continue to hope she keeps breaking barriers. The pitch hit to the right side, just dodges fair territory and will stay. Beg your pardon, will go to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Zach Collier working a deep at bat. So far, Collier 0 for 3. Again, the Blue Crabs have just 4 hits on the day. Silva, Walker, and Haug have the 3 hits.
Zach Collier sits back in his stance. The 3-2 from Josh Graham, the newcomer, into the game.
Yeah, well, Josh Graham had his last appearance against York, went 2/3 of an inning, allowed an unearned run. And against left-handed hitters are 2 for 7 off of him. Right-handed hitters are 0 for 9. So Graham has done a terrific job from the bullpen. On the year, the bullpen has a 6.70 ERA, but for the most part, their top relievers are very good for Lancaster.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point that you bring up. Through their first 9 games of the season, Austin, their bullpen had an 8 ERA, but their top 7 bullpen arms had a .71 ERA.
Wow.
Absurd numbers. Zach Collier once again awaiting the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball elevated for out number 2 as Josh Graham now awaits Matt Hibbert coming up to the right-handed batter's box.
Yeah, so far Hibbert 0 for 2. He has been hit by a pitch and scored a run. Well, the hitter of the game so far for the Blue Crabs has been Ryan Haug, who's on deck. He's 1 for 1, had an RBI, a run scored, and he's been hit by a pitch. Had a real complete game today. And the 1-0 pitch, or the first pitch I should say to Hibbert, is a big cut and a miss. The count 0-1. The Blue Crabs lead this one 3-0. Scored a run in the 3rd, 2 more in the 4th. with nobody on base. Austin Rooney, Andrew Banstra, happy to have you along for the ride this evening from Regency Furniture Stadium. Matt Latos back and warming up in the Blue Crabs bullpen as Southern Maryland has a 3-0 lead. Here's the 0-1. That's a pitch that just missed. Looked pretty close. And the count, a ball and a strike. Well, Hibbert steps back in. Hope everybody has learned some new trivia, and if you were in the area, hope you had a chance to bring your dog to the park today. As the 1-1, a little bit in and the count 2-1. I know that the Blue Crabs, or Andrew was saying the Blue Crabs couldn't have bring your pet to the park day, but maybe at some point in the future you can all bring your hamsters and your gerbils and your domesticated house cats and all sorts of other animals to the ballpark.
You name it.
No giraffes, I don't think.
Nah, I don't think that'll work, but I will tell you that the Nationals used to do a catter day, so it's not unprecedented to have cats come to the ballpark.
You see, I think here's the problem with Catter Day.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
I would love
They're
it.
going to run away. You know, cats, they're
true.
not loyal.
It's true, and, cats
they do
on
their
leashes.
own thing. You don't do cats on leashes.
You don't.
You just don't.
I once saw a cat in a stroller, though.
Not a good move.
Fly out to center field. Ladarius Clark comes in and catches for out number 3. Matt Latos has a save situation awaiting him. 3-0 Crabs on the other end of the break. You're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Matt Latos introduces himself as we bring you into the top of the 9th inning. Southern Maryland holding a 3-0 lead, trying to make it 10 straight wins. The Blue Crabs already have won 9 straight, which is already a franchise record. The 9-1 start to the season is the same. Why not make it 10-1, Austin Rooney?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's a reason not to make it 10-1. I think there are plenty of reasons to make it 10-1. And Matt Latos is a good opportunity to do so, but he's got to work with the top of the lineup.
See what he can come up with against Ladarius Clark, who leads things off. It'll be Clark, Melvin Mercedes, and Cordero batting third. Andretti Cordero in the hole to start this one off as Ladarius Clark comes up. He's 0 for 2 today. He did walk once, also struck out. Matt Latos onto the mound, trying to pick up his 5th save of the season. First pitch, right back up the middle. It's a single from Ladarius Clark.
Yeah, it's a pitch right over the middle of the plate, and Ladarius Clark doesn't try to do too much with it. Just punches it right back where it came from.
Latos with some room to work with here, the 3-run lead, Austin. What do you go with next?
Yeah, I was about to just say, and of all the opportunities for Latos here, he's pitched well up until this point, 5 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball, but it's a low, it's not a high leverage situation among save opportunities. Normally you think save opportunity, a 1-run game, maybe a 2-run game. He's got 3 runs to work with here.
Melvin Mercedes at the dish from the left side. Ladarius Clark with good speed at first, but likely stays put. Fastball from Latos in there for a strike. A ball and a strike the count. 3-0, Blue Crabs on top. 5 hits for the Barnstormers, just 2 for the Blue Crabs. But the Crabs have had a fair amount of free passes to accompany 4 Barnstormers errors.
The 4 errors are totally unacceptable from the Barnstormers.
This one hit over our heads. Runner win on the pitch. And, the Crabs had a 2-0 lead before they even had their first hit in this contest, Austin. If you're a Southern Maryland fan, not complaining. And it likely will be the reason the Blue Crabs get to 10 straight wins.
It's honestly very surprising to see Ladarius Clark try to steal. There's nothing to gain by getting to second base here. If you're going to score 3 runs, he's going to have to come around one way or another. So unless you're trying to break up a double play ball, it just doesn't make all that much sense.
Melvin Mercedes still awaiting the 1-2 pitch from Matt Latos, the 6'6" MLB veteran and the 2019 Atlantic League reliever of the year on the mound. This one swung at and hit to right field. Matt Hibbert converging with the center fielder Jack Sundberg, who takes priority and puts it in the back of his glove for out number 1. Mentioned the history being made this evening. Kelsey Whitmore becoming the first female to ever pitch in an Atlantic League game. She faced 1 batter, recorded 1 out, and was done with her day. Came in a relief appearance. Forced Ryan Jackson to fly out, and that was the only batter she faced. Congratulations to Kelsey once more. Up to the plate for the Lancaster Barnstormers here with 1 on and 1 away is Andretti Cordero. High fly to the right side. Jared Walker seems to have everything under control. Puts it into the back of his glove, and the Blue Crabs are 1 out away from making this a 10-game win streak. Just remarkable what this Southern Maryland team has been able to do.
And the Blue Crabs in a situation where they just keep on winning these close games as well. They're not necessarily putting up all that many runs on the board. Tonight, just 3. Yesterday, 2. Had a 1-0 win over Staten Island. But whether they're scoring 21 runs or 3 runs or fewer, they're finding ways to get wins.
Kelly Dugan sends one to right center field. Jack Sundberg with a long run, and it is in the back of his glove. Make it 10 straight for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. A franchise record. 10 straight wins, Austin Rooney.
It's just nearly unbelievable. I don't want to say unbelievable too quickly here, but to see this team not only break a franchise record, but continuing to extend this franchise record. The previous record in 2013 and 15 with an 8-game win streak, and since then, they've won 2 more. This team just keeps on rattling off wins.
It's really, really unbelievable. And, you look back through this game, not really one that you expected Southern Maryland to win necessarily, Austin. Just looking at the box score, 2 hits in the contest, but 4 Barnstormers errors and a handful of walks and hit batsmen spell the Blue Crabs' victory. 10 straight wins. You can't say it enough.
Again, this is from start to finish a full team effort, but you can't talk enough about this bullpen. Hull had a great start, 5 innings. When you go to the bullpen and Perrone and Geeky and Briseño and Latos and one after the next, continuing to put up outstanding performances, you just can't say enough good things, and the Blue Crabs just keep on winning.
Absolutely. Running back through the final box score in this contest. Starting pitcher for the Blue Crabs, Denson Hull gets the win. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Augie Silk on the hook for the loss. 4 innings, just 1 hit, but 4 walks, 3 runs, none of them earned, Austin. The hold goes to Andres Briseño. The save goes to Matt Latos. And what a game. Not necessarily what you're looking for in terms of fireworks for this game, but a win is a win is a win.
Exactly. Again, there are not a lot of big hits in this one with the exception of Ryan Haug's RBI double, a couple of miscues in the field, but still, you'll take them any way you can get them. And as Stan Clyburn said, sometimes when you need a 10-game win streak, you're going to need a little bit of luck as well.
Absolutely. Southern Maryland winning their 10th straight game here in Waldorf, getting this big-time victory. You love to see it, Austin. If you had to name a player of the game, who might you pin?
I'll go Denson Hull.
I think so, too. Hull was fantastic once more, putting together a fantastic trio of starts to begin this season. For Austin Rooney, I'm Andrew Banstra, thanking you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in to yet another Blue Crabs victory. We'll have another one right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. First thing bright and early tomorrow, 11:05, first pitch. We'll see you then. Until then, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great night. And one more thing.
Let's go Blue Crabs.